Hey, 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 what's up, folks? Was having some technical issues, but I think I resolved them. So here I am. Hello, Michael. Hello, Lynn. All right, so what is today? Today is Thursday, August 4th, 2024. And this is Yoda Live. I am Yoda, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. Oof. And I am Shveti, as always. It's like every time I eat, I sweat. That might be a fat guy thing. Hello, Cat. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Quincy. People are seeing my title and they're like, oh no. uh, so, Biker D, what's up? Cynthia from Texas, what's up? Biker D saw the title and he was like, nope, not interested. uh, I kind of figured that might happen, but that's all right. I did it anyway. Why not? So, let's see. I'm not seeing any. Okay. All right. We have Act 5. Hello, Act 5. So I'm not going to dwell on this, but I did see just a little snippet of Elizabeth Warren grilling RFK. Cynthia says, taking down my sunflowers all day. Save the seeds for next crop. Hard work. Cool. You know, for some reason I'm not seeing this. Oh, yeah, that's right. Never see it there. Pardon me. Pocahontas. Yeah. You could call her that if you like. That's what Dump called her, so that gives me an insight into your mindset. You know, the first time I saw sunflowers in real life, I was amazed at how huge they were. I was just walking down the street in a neighborhood on Long Island, and this person had sunflowers on their front lawn right by the front fence, the front gate, I guess. And so it was just a few inches away when I passed by, and I was like, damn, these things are huge. Act 5, she lied about being Indian. Oh boy. You're worried about liars, huh? So I guess you must not be a Dump supporter since you don't like liars, right? But I bet somehow you still are. Eric 50, what's up? Delbert, Ruby, what's going on? Oh, Eric, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate it. So now, let's see. Let me just check. I need to see something here. Where is it? There we go. Okay, that's good. So yeah, I'm wearing something light, so I blacked out the lower third of the screen so you could all see the comments, and that seems to be working okay. Seems to be okay. Yeah, I was too lazy just to go and put on a a darker top. We have someone who wants to come up.
Hello?
Hello. For some reason, I don't see you, but I hear you. There you are. It's looks like Spotless. Is that the name?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. For the sake of TikTok, are you at least 18 years old?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm curious about your prompt. Win
Mm-hmm.
arguments.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use to do, or I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're curious. I appreciate that you stopped by to ask that. And it's kind of clickbait. I really have no interest in teaching people how to win arguments. I do want to help
Mm,
people communicate better, and arguments are a good example of how you can use communication tools to your advantage and really to everybody's advantage because arguments are generally, and you could tell me whether this makes sense to you or not, or you agree with it or not, but I believe that arguments are generally not productive conversations.
mm.
Do you believe that, or
Um, I believe some arguments, sure, for sure. Some arguments are absolutely not important. But think about it like
no?
in
I didn't
philosophy.
say not important. I said non-productive.
Non-productive, you're right, I'm sorry. Non-productive. But think about in philosophy, the whole point is arguing to find a conclusion.
I would say that I think, and this might be semantical, but I don't believe it is. I think in philosophy, debate is healthy. I think in science, debate is healthy to get to the truth in both those areas. I don't see arguing as the same as debate.
And you're right. Yeah, they're just, yeah, it's about how you describe the word. I suppose you're correct. So,
Yeah, and you know what? I'll
yeah.
tell you what, I have not looked up the actual definition of the word argue, so I'm going to do that right now just to see if because, most of what we know about words is connotative.
Mm,
So let's see what it means denotatively. So the first one, and this comes from Oxford Languages, the only thing that I will accept as far as defining words. But number one, give reasons or cite evidence in support of an idea, action, or theory, typically with the aim of persuading others to share one's view. And number two is exchange or express diverging or opposing views, typically in a heated or angry way. So I think I was more focused on the
yeah.
second definition. So to your point, some arguments can be productive, right? Based on the definition, you're absolutely correct. And and some arguments to support my point are not productive because when you're heated or angry, chances are you're not trying to communicate, you're just trying to win. And I've seen
Mm,
this a lot my whole life, but uh, on social media, this is very evident to me that people are not listening to what the other person is saying. They're waiting till the other person stops talking and then they launch
gotcha.
into their own thing, right?
Yeah, what they were thinking about. And I think I do that, of course, because I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about while listening to you. So, like, that's what I did before. And I have
And
ADHD, so I have trouble communicating in the first place.
okay. Um, and
Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, your points are valid. And I have a little of my own ADHD. It's not severe, but I definitely have it. And I mean, I'm kind of self-diagnosing, but just listening to how people describe how they experience the world with it, I'm pretty clear. I'm pretty clear on the idea that I have it as well, and it definitely impedes me in some ways. And so, uh, when you have ADHD, or even if you don't, it actually requires the same amount of thought to get through a conversation. And one of those, the first thing really is stop trying to be right. Stop focusing on being right and focus on communicating ideas. Meaning, I'm going to communicate my idea to you, and then I'm going to listen as you communicate your idea to me because there might be a fault in my logic. And people are very often, they feel that if they're angry, they must be right, which is something that Ricky Gervais said in I think on The View, when someone said, well, what about people being offended? He said, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. And just because you're angry at something that someone says doesn't mean that you're right. You're entitled to your anger. There's nothing wrong with being angry, but don't mistake that for, oh, I must be right because I feel so strongly about this. There could be a fault in my logic when I present my ideas to someone. And if I'm calm enough and open enough to listen to what the other person says, I will hear the fault in my logic if they are communicating effectively on their side. And that's why I say I don't like to argue. I prefer debating, because I,
Right.
I like
And
I like to take the emotion out of it. So I like to approach it the first definition, which is like just present evidence to support your idea, right? Because at the
yeah.
end of the day, we're just trying to sell each other ideas, right? Like I'm telling you what my ideas are, and then you can tell me whether, well, it makes sense, it doesn't make sense, I agree, I don't agree, I agree with part of it, but I don't agree with the other part. And when I approach
Mhm.
communication that way, which is my style of communication, I find that I get much more out of conversations with people. And at this point, I've been a professional communicator for over 40 years because I got in sales
Mm.
when I was 20 years old. And I've done public speaking, I've done coaching, and I've been making content for over 5 years now. And so I'm good at communicating, but there are some people that are only good with one-way communication. And in order to have effective communication with other people, it's got to flow both ways.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, roughly what you're saying. I wish I could understand exactly what you're saying. I'm learning, how
Well,
to get
which
better. I'm
which
very,
part of which
I'm
part of it is
open to
unclear
it.
to you? Like,
I might have to just come back another time to be
oh, that's okay.
completely honest.
That's fine. But yeah, if ever there's a
Yeah,
part of what I'm
I
saying that's
like what.
unclear to you, then I'll use different ways of trying to explain it. Because again, because I understand how communication works. If I'm trying to explain something to you and you don't understand it, that the onus is on me to find a better way to explain it, right? So, if you
Yeah.
figure out what it is that you're not connecting to, and you can either make a comment about it or come back up or whatever you like. But I appreciate
Mhm.
that you came up
No.
to engage with me.
Yeah, I think I tracked your thoughts pretty okay, and I agreed with them. Yeah, they make sense. And yeah, I'll come back another time and
Yeah,
have a better discussion with you in the future, hopefully.
excellent.
All right,
Well,
thank
I thought
you.
it was a really good discussion, so thank you for that.
All right.
All right, excellent. Yeah, that's the part of communication that sometimes trips people up, is that their ego gets involved, and it doesn't matter if I think I'm communicating effectively. If you're not connecting to the thoughts that I'm sharing, then I'm wrong. I'm not communicating effectively, and I need to change that. Sorry, had to adjust the mic there. It was a little hot, a little louder than it needed to be. So anyway, um, yeah. So and in order to accept that the onus is on you to communicate effectively, you just have to be humble. You just have to understand that just because these words came in your head and out of your mouth, that doesn't mean that other people can connect to it. I have someone that I know in my life that used to tell stories very badly. And what I mean by that is that they just left out critical information, and I had to stop them constantly and say, "Listen, the information is in your head, and I can't see what's in your head. So I'm going to need you to fill in some gaps. Just remember, I wasn't there. I didn't see what you saw. I didn't experience what you experienced. So you've got to just help me fill the gaps. So I'm going to ask you this. What about this? What about that? And, there were times when this person got annoyed, but I had to keep reminding them, like, I wasn't there. I don't know the story that you're telling me. So as you're talking and leaving out chunks of information, I start to get lost in the story. And studies show that the moment someone you're talking to gets distracted by something in your story, they will not hear another word that you say. Right? That's why in sales, it's so critical to stop after every point that you make as a salesperson and make sure that that person that you're talking to is on the same page as you. And don't ever ask yes or no questions. Don't ask, do you agree? Don't ask, do you have any questions? No, you can't do yes or no questions. You have to ask open-ended questions, like, what do you think about what I just said? What about what I just said is meaningful to you? Questions like that. Those are open-ended questions. They cannot be answered with yes or no. And that's what you want, because if you're doing a sale and you're asking yes or no questions, it doesn't even matter most of the time whether they say yes or no. You're not going to really get any information. Because sometimes people lie, right? If they're not paying attention when you're talking, like, remember when a teacher would catch you drifting off and they would say, hey, what's the last thing I said? And you go, they know you weren't paying attention. But if the teacher asks you, did you hear what I said? Say, yeah, absolutely. Right? So I lied, but if they bought it because I sold it well, they moved on. Right? So that's why in sales, never ask yes or no questions. And it's not just in sales. Any communication that you're having with another human being, it's good to stop and just make sure that you're both on the same page. Right? So again, win arguments, that title is about clickbait, really. It's just about, getting people interested in the idea, but it's not really about winning arguments. It's really about communicating well. Cynthia says, with husband, right, with your spouse, with any, it really is true for anything. I cannot think of a scenario where these communication strategies are not effective. Whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a friend, a parent, a coworker, the boss, whatever it is, whoever you're communicating with, even if it's a total stranger, and you're standing at a bus stop together and they say something, these strategies are going to help you. And certainly when there's disagreement about something, this is when these strategies really pay off, in my opinion. Because, it instead of becoming a thing where the conversation devolves into yelling and just trying to win, you're not gonna get anything out of that. So instead of it becoming that, it becomes a thing where you're now working to solve a problem, right? Like, an argument really is this, as far as I can tell. Any argument I've ever had is really someone saying, I don't like what you did, right? And sometimes what you did is say something. So, I don't like what you said. I don't like what you did. That's all it is. And it's interesting to me that very few people will start their feedback with that. They won't just say, I didn't like what you said to me, or I didn't like what you did. Like, someone put away the dishes the wrong way. And Instead of just saying, "Oh, I don't like that you put the dishes away that way. I show you how I prefer to do it?" They'll say, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing it that way?" Right? So for me, if someone doesn't do something, or if someone does something that I don't like, or says something that I don't like, this is a moment where I can attempt to modify their behavior by saying, "I didn't like this. This is why. This is how it affected me. And I'd prefer if you did it a different way. And if you have a specific way that you want them to conduct themselves, you can tell them that, you know?" And I find that that approach really works. I always have to convince him, "Hey, we need to get an extra load of firewood." Okay. I mean, there's obviously there's a lot to interpret from that statement. Um, I'm guessing you don't really mean always. I sincerely doubt that that's the only thing you're saying to him every day. So you know, this is a thing where if he doesn't think that you need firewood and you do, that's just a difference of opinion, right? So when you say that you always have to convince him, it means either he has to pay for it or he has to go get it. But that might not be the only option. Instead of having the conversation, just go get the wood yourself. And that might not be an option. And if it's not, it's not. But that would be the immediate thing. Like, I'll give you an example. Uh, the woman I married, we lived together before we got married, and she leaves the cap off the toothpaste. And I find that to be disgusting. So I didn't argue with her. I didn't even say anything except, "This is your toothpaste. This is my toothpaste. Only use your toothpaste, please, and I'll only use my toothpaste. Because I won't use your toothpaste because you leave the cap off of it, and I find that disgusting. So I'm just going to use my toothpaste." And it worked. I avoided a whole argument because I wasn't trying to convince her to do anything. I just I just found a way around that. Yeah, I've never heard of that unit of measurement, 1.5 cords. Okay, whatever that means, it sounds like big, but you know, I don't know the mechanics of getting firewood, so that sounds fine to me. But yeah, I'm not. I still don't quite understand why you have to convince him, but that's probably going to be difficult to explain in chat. Okay, learning more about firewood than I ever thought I'd need. So anyway, um, if anyone has any other strategies for, you know, avoiding arguments or navigating arguments, I'd love to hear them. Of course, it would be easier if you came up and explained it. So you can do that one of two ways. But before we get to that, well, I'll get to that afterwards. So let's try sharing out the live. There's 8 of us in here, so definitely can make some headway on this. Hold your finger gently on the middle of the screen, either my nose or my giant forehead, and your friends list will pop up, including any lists you've made in your messaging section, and you can send an invite to a whole bunch of people, right? I believe it's up to 40, but again, if you have lists, those lists can be up to 30 people. So one send will cover 30 people, but do that over and over again. Send to a bunch of people. And then when you're done with that, come back, do the heart me if you haven't done so already. That's just a TikTok coin, otherwise known as a penny. And it lets the algorithm know that the live is happening and that people are interested. And then once you're done with that, let's go back to tapping. Tap, 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 tap. I haven't asked you to do that, so we're way, way behind. Oh, excellent. Compy 3, thank you for the heart me. Okay. Dangerfield recycling Bill Cosby jokes. Great. Cynthia says it's like last night's topic. He always says I'm always right. Compy, I assume you're talking to me. So what is it that you want to join? You want to join up on the panel? Is that what you mean? If that's the case, you have two options. Either there'll be boxes on the screen that say requests. If there's not, that means, oh, you meant Danny. Gotcha. I don't think Danny's here, but if you want to join the game, you can either follow me and get notified when I go live, so that when Danny goes live and I join him, you'll see that I'm live and you can come in, or you can go. I just did a post about the trivia game. Can't miss it. You'll see the Trivial Pursuit logo on my profile. In the thumbnails, and Danny is mentioned in that, so you can click on his name and follow him, and then do the same thing, get notified. Because what's great is once you follow someone, you hit the bell icon for notifications, and you can be notified when that person goes live. So that always helps. But for the record, Danny goes live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And the first and third Sunday of every month, same time. Mondays and Wednesdays are devoted to the way of positive change, which is where Danny looks at current events and tries to figure out the best way to address them. Pardon me while I do the very unattractive thing of scratch my eye in public. And on Fridays, he does Trivial Pursuit, which is spectacular. The most fun you'll have on social media. I guarantee you that. And then the first and third Sunday of the month, he does what's called Vet Talk, VET, as in veterans, where veterans help each other out, but not like war stories and all that stuff and glorifying all that nonsense. No, it's about, let's make sure you have all the coverage that you need to have, all the services that you need to have, especially now since a lot of them are dwindling. And it's important to know how to navigate the system. And Danny helps to do that. And with other veterans, there's always, because Danny hasn't been in the military for a long time, over 30 years, but he always has people that are either active or recently retired that can help, other vets navigate the system. which I think is an amazing thing. He's got a big heart, that Danny. That's why I refer to him as my older brother from another mother. And he might or might not show up this evening. We'll see. I know there's at least one of my buddies that's having a live right now, and I know that a few people are there supporting him. And we'll just see if they make their way to me. And if not, not. Well, let's see. What else we got here? Yes, Cynthia explaining that firewood is hard to load in the summer heat. They pay off is huge when we're supplied with heat all winter. Yeah. That's it. It's funny because humans are notoriously bad with long-term thinking. We tend to be able to do maybe 6 months at a time. And according to some studies, apparently roaches are better at long-term planning than humans are. Which could be why roaches have been around so long and we can't seem to get rid of them no matter how much we try, right? But I'm guessing this, since nature generally doesn't make mistakes, then I'm guessing that roaches are here for a reason. I never read about it, but generally it's some kind of insect control or something to do with other animals that eat them. There's a reason why they're here. I just don't like them. Although apparently flies are worse than roaches. Like they're dirtier, they carry more diseases. I read this a long time ago. I don't remember exactly what the source was, but I was reading something about that. Anyway, so for any of you who just joined, we're talking about communication strategies. It's not really about how to win arguments. It's more about how to communicate effectively so you can avoid an argument, right? So I'm kind of using that title from a film, WAR Games, with Matthew Broderick. The last thing the computer says after they teach it tic-tac-toe was something like, "Strange game, Professor. The only way to win is not to play." So that's what I do with arguments. I don't play in arguments. I communicate instead. I'm assuming that you're referring to roaches. They have 30,000 babies in a month. Yeah. Yeah, so they would probably be categorized as an invasive species because I know pigs are categorized that way, and a pig can start to get pregnant at 6 months. So, and once they get, into an area, they could level a farm because they just keep eating. And they have very strong jaws, too. They can snap human bones. Wild boars all over the South. Yeah, I know that they pay, most states that have been invaded by wild boars are paying hunters to get up in helicopters and hunt them down. And interestingly enough, pigs were not native to North America. The reason that they proliferated is because William Randolph Hearst, the guy who owned Hearst Publishing, and they put out Condé Nast and a bunch of other periodicals. When he built his castle in California, he brought in pigs. And apparently from that, you guys developed a pig problem. It's kind of wild. I'm always fascinated about stuff like that. Like, I visited Bora Bora as part of my honeymoon in 2001. An amazing place, absolutely amazing. And then the tour guides explained that, like, the only thing that was indigenous to Bora Bora and like Moorea, Tahiti, islands like that in the Pacific, the South Pacific, it was just fern. Fern was the only thing that grew on these islands. Because some of these islands are just volcanoes, like collapsed dormant volcanoes. Bora Bora is tiny. It's got one road on the main island, which only takes 40 minutes to drive around. That's how small the island is. And, uh, there's a coral reef around the island, and a lot of the hotels are on that coral reef. And between the reef and the island is a body of water, and it takes 5 minutes by boat to get across it. So, like, you can see people very easily on the other side if you're on the coral reef and they're on the island, or vice versa. Like, they're easy to spot. But nothing that was on that island was indigenous to it. Like, one place, the middle island that we went to, there's an island between Bora Bora and Tahiti called Moorea. And on that island, they have these giant chickens, just the most enormous chickens I've ever seen, easily 3 times the size and height of a normal chicken. And the reason why they grow so big is that they have zero predators. In most ecosystems that develop naturally, there's a balance. There's a balance between predator and prey. There's a balance between the insects and the things that eat them, et cetera, et cetera. You know, and on those islands, that balance doesn't exist. So whatever they bring there is just going to proliferate. And I know there was a trivia question about where vanilla came from. When I was on Tahiti, they swore that Tahiti is where most of the world's supply of vanilla comes from. So I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that one. Cynthia says, we have fine dining places nearby that serve wild boar, frog's legs, and fresh salmon. Yeah. I never ate frog's legs, never had an interest in it. Wild boar sounds like you'd have to do a lot to it to make it taste good. And even though I don't eat any of this stuff, I know that fresh salmon is better than farmed salmon. Apparently, there's some bacteria that grows in the water or on the fish, I forget, whenever you farm them, because it's not natural, you know? And as the old commercials said, can't fool Mother Nature. I think it was a William Shatner commercial, and it might have been about butter or something like that. I don't remember, but that was the tagline. You can't fool Mother Nature. Now I have to look that up. See, this is what happens to me in trivia. Is I know stuff, but I don't know how I know it all the time. Commercial. Can't fool Mother Nature. Now you know how quickly I type. Ah, yeah, I was right. So it was margarine. Chiffon Margarine. She didn't say you can't fool Mother Nature. The tagline was it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. So I was pretty close. Pretty close. Onset says, what's this live about? I'm assuming that's what you mean, even though the apostrophe is missing. I know some folks don't like to use punctuation. I think it's Gen X or millennials. They don't like punctuation, but um, onset. What this is about? It's not literally winning arguments. That's just sort of a teaser. It's about communicating effectively so you can avoid arguments, which is one way of, winning them, right? If you avoid arguments, that's a good way to win them. But we were talking earlier about strategies that I've used that are meant to effectuate communication. And, we can talk more about that. And if you'd like to come up and maybe talk about your perspective on it, feel free. I can stay up here and just blow a lot of hot air, but it's more fun when I have someone to talk to. And since I'm very, I tend to be, or let me put it a better way, I have been lazy for most of my life. So whenever there's a way to minimize my workload, I enjoy that. Um, I don't know if people like practicing debating. I've I used to practice debating, but in an unhealthy way. I used to obsess over getting the best of people in an argument, and that's it. It did have an interesting byproduct, and I'm talking about when I was very young. I was still like 9, 10 years old, 12 years old, that range, where I used to get really, really upset is if someone got the best of me, either in an argument or just like they said something sarcastic or insulted me, and I didn't have a reply. So I used to go home at night and just lay awake practicing, you know. Next time they say this, I'll say this. Or maybe I'll say this instead. Or maybe it's better if I say this. So that, of course, was not healthy. However, the byproduct of that turned out to be something that serves me to this day, which is my mind works very quickly when I'm speaking one-on-one with someone, and I have to defeat whatever they're saying. And this is once really like reasonable conversation is done and they start acting up, then my brain kicks into gear and, I set about setting them straight or humiliating them sometimes or defeating their argument, whatever it is. But this is not about that kind of thing. This is about how do I communicate effectively and how do I listen effectively so that instead of arguing with someone, it can just be an exchange of information. Because Onset, maybe you could tell me whether you agree with this or not, and anybody else that wasn't here earlier. Like, is is an argument really about just being angry and trying to prove the other person wrong? Or is it really about trying to solve a problem? Someone said something or did something you didn't like, and you want to communicate that to them. Or someone said something that you disagree with, and you just want to communicate that to them. And I find that if you focus on being right, it's not productive at all. And especially if you're angry, you know. Um, and anger generally is a choice in those situations, you know. You can just calmly say, I didn't like that. Whether it's I didn't like what you said or I didn't like what you did, right? Simple. But instead, people go, oh, you fucking idiot. You know, that stuff's not necessary to me. I don't want to argue with people. Thank you, Steve, for the heart me. Danny's here. Thank you for the heart me, Danny. So, Danny, whenever you're ready, my friend, after you do your tapper in chief duties, as you always do, feel free to come up. And I'll tell you, when I was a child, I was a people watcher. And I used to watch my mother and stepfather argue with each other. And after I watched this, I noticed something. After I saw it for a while, and I think I was probably my early teens when I noticed this, but they were never having the same conversation. And later on, I learned why. My mother was obsessed with being right, completely obsessed with being right. So my stepfather would say something that would prove my mother wrong, and so my mother would change the subject. And he never caught on to that. He wasn't bright enough to notice that pattern with her because, that's why people can't gaslight me because I was raised by the queen of gaslighting. And once I cracked that code, she couldn't do that to me anymore. And she hated that. So that's an interesting comment. Cynthia said it's the biggest reason for wars, WARs, and divorce. Got to see the comment before that. And thank you, everybody, for sharing out the live. I appreciate it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful would you say it is to have better communication skills? 11. There is no downside that I can imagine that is a detriment. There's no downside to having better communication skills. I can't see any. If someone could think of one, I'd be open to hearing it, but learning how to communicate better has improved my life exponentially. It's sort of like in the film Unforgiven, which for my money is the best Western ever made. And of course, it's Clint Eastwood. And the brilliance of the film is that Clint Eastwood helped to demythologize the very genre of film that he helped to mythologize in the first place, right? Because of all of his spaghetti westerns, as they called it, Sergio Leone, all that stuff. And one of the things he said in that film was pertaining to when you are in an armament fight, blank fight at the OK Corral kind of stuff, right? And he said the reason why he won all of his engagements was that he stayed calm and he took his time and he picked his target based on what the most immediate threat was. And he said other guys just start jerking away at the weapon, and that's going to make you miss. And I find that developing my communication skills enables me to do that if I'm having a disagreement with someone. If I can just sit back and stay calm and pay attention to what's happening and assess clearly without fear or anger, then generally I can have a productive conversation. Thank you, Vicky, for the heart me. Thank you, everyone, for all the good stuff that you're sending. So, hold on a second. Cynthia's telling Danny that she was harvesting sunflowers. I love that. Yeah, this is basically part of the reason why I call my coaching emotional management, right? Because when you learn these techniques, it makes it easier to manage your own communication with yourself and certainly manage it with other people. Hey, AC and the gang are here. What's up, Traffic Man?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm excellent, brother. How are you?
Not bad, not bad at all.
AC's here. What's up? Thanks for the raid, folks. Tanya, Jessica. Oh, I love this. You folks are the best. So, as you guys are doing your thing of the heart me's and sharing and tapping, I'll go over what the topic is because it ain't exactly what it looks like. I called it Win Arguments, kind of like clickbait, just to get people intrigued at what this might be. So, what we've been talking about are strategies for how to communicate more effectively. And I'll ask you, Traffic Man, do you enjoy arguments?
Yeah. No,
Right.
not at all.
And when either you're arguing or you've seen other people arguing, what is the problem that you see with arguing with someone?
um, Frankly, what I see is it's that the other person always feels that they're right.
Right.
That's been my experience, and no matter no matter what the topic may be, it always feels that they just want to double down and continue on with not being wrong,
Right.
and not saying that I've never been wrong myself.
Right. And yeah, that's the first thing that I talked about earlier. The desire to want to be right is going to become an impedance to your communication. Because really, at the end of the day, these are the two things that spark arguments, as far as I can tell. And if anybody has anything else, feel free to share it. But someone does something you don't like, or they said something you don't like, which is technically the same thing, but I just like to make that distinction. Someone does something you don't like, someone says something you don't like. So instead of, what the fuck are you doing? Or you're a fucking idiot. I can't believe you did that. Why are you doing that? All that stuff. How about just saying, oh, I didn't like what you did. And here's why. And here's how it affects me. And here's how I would prefer that you handle the situation. Isn't that easier?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, because that's all you're trying to communicate, right? What we do as human beings when we relate to one another, any kind of relationship there is, whether it's romantic, whether it's familial, whether it's friends, whether it's coworkers, your boss, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you're communicating with. right? The goal is to change any behavior that you don't like. So if someone says something to me that I don't like, instead of going nuts and engaging in histrionics and negativity and anger and all that, I can just say, hey, I don't like that. Could you do this instead? Or I
Right.
don't like that. Please stop doing that. you
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
you know, like there was this chick I dated long, 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 long time ago. Like Bernie Mac said, long, long, long time ago. Right. Uh,
God
she
bless
used to
him.
like to nibble on me, but it was more like nipping. It was like, hey, this quick little weird bites that she would do. And I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
So I would say, please stop nibbling me. I don't enjoy that at all. And then she did it again another time. And I was like, listen, I really don't enjoy that at all. I don't like what you're doing. Please stop. you know, and because if we get to a third time, then I'm going to be like, there's something fucked up about you. And I got to
Yeah.
figure out what I'm going to do here, you know. But literally it's called behavior modification, right? That's what behavior modification is. And there's behavior modification on the small scale and then on the big scale, right? On the small scale is what
Right.
we engage in all the time. Whenever we meet someone new and are interacting with them regularly, you are going to be teaching each other how to treat each other, how to relate to each other, right? So for me, this childish desire to want to be right is not serving any good purpose. And it's whether I'm doing it or they're doing it. Because most of the time, people that are arguing, it's two people that are just desperate to be right. And
Right.
I was raised by a woman like that. My mother was relentless. She had to be right. She in all things, and I'm very fact-based. So she would tell me these things that didn't make sense to me. And if I pointed out that she was wrong, she would change the subject and then try to be right about that. You know?
You're literally describing my entire life with my parents.
Yeah. I'll tell you how extreme my mother was. This is an interesting story, and I think I could tell it quickly. My mother used to speak to me in Spanish, and I would answer her in English. It was never a conscious decision of mine. It was like, she sent me off to school. I came back speaking English, and it was just a habitual thing. I was speaking English all day long,
Right.
and then I'd come home and my mother would speak to me in Spanish. I understood her because that was my first language. That is my first language. And I would answer her in English. And it was funny, like when we moved into a white teen neighborhood when I was 9 years old, and my friends would come over, they thought it was really funny that this woman in another room was saying something that they didn't understand, and I was answering her back in English. And it wasn't,
Right.
and I had never thought about it until my friends reflected it back to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that does look weird, but yeah, that's how we communicate, right? So I say all that to say that one day, long, long after I was an adult, were we married yet? We might have been still engaged. So my fiance and I went to my mother's place to visit her, and we landed at night, and my mother didn't like driving at night because she was probably in her 70s by then. And so she had her friend, because my mother was brilliant at recruiting all the neighbors to help her out. To her credit, like, she always had several people around her that would do whatever she needed for her. She was very good at engaging with people, except me. But so she brought this guy, and I've never met this guy. My fiance and I get in the car, and the first thing he says to me after like, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Pleasure. Thank you for picking me up." He's like, "I can't believe you don't speak Spanish." And I went, "The fuck are you talking about?" You know? And my mother, because she was embarrassed by my reaction, she said to him, "Oh, he's just tired from his flight." I said, "I'm not fucking tired. I just don't need this kind of bullshit."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because, what I understood is that my mother is telling stories about me that aren't true. Of course I speak Spanish. I just choose not to most of the time. I don't fucking need to.
Right.
I'm in an English speaking
Right.
country. Okay? If
Yep.
I absolutely have to speak Spanish, I can and I will. But
Yep.
I'm not interested in doing that. Why should I? You know?
You know, you're literally like telling the same story of my life, where instead of Spanish, it's Greek.
Yeah.
And my parents were both born here in the United States. They're not, and but maintaining that culture and the language and everything. And it was very similar. Like she would like I'd have friends over and she would talk to me in Greek. I would respond in English, and it would always get to her. To one day, I remember I was probably in my mid 20s, and she looks at me and she says, "Yatida legi sili de mefta." And I looked at her and I was like, because I don't want to, which means, why don't you speak Greek to me? Right.
Ah,
And I was like, because I don't want to.
yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Okay, we're cool.
Right.
And she's like, I don't get it.
So check this out. Here's the punchline of my story. So now, there's been an embarrassing moment for my mother with her friend, because now I've been rude to a dude in response to his being rude to me, right?
Right.
So in order to make herself right in that situation, my mother never spoke to me in Spanish again.
I'm sorry to laugh, but that
That's
sounds like
that's
something
how
my mom
that's how
would do.
committed she was to being right. She was so committed to being right about something that she was clearly wrong about that she stopped talking to me in Spanish for the rest of her life. Hey, what's up, Danny? You turned your camera on so we could see
Oh,
your beautiful bold dome. How you doing?
Yeah. Well, for some reason, my profile picture didn't come up. I don't know what happened, but anyway,
You might have
so I
hit the
decided
camera
to turn
button.
my
I do that
camera
all
on.
the time. But it's good to see you anyway. Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Yoda?
Good, good. I stumbled upon a live that you were in earlier with some of the dumbest MAGA hats that I've heard in a while. I don't know how you
Oh
dealt with
my
that.
God. Yeah, I saw you down in the comments like asking questions, so then I
Yeah,
was like, I'm gonna relay this
yeah,
just
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah. God, yeah, it's a shit show in that live. It can be very entertaining, but it gets some of the people
There
I've
you go.
encountered on her live is just it's nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Just the
Oof.
dumbest people. They can't. But this is actually part of what informed my topic tonight. Because what I realized listening to those guys is the same thing that I realized when I listen to anybody argue. I'm like, they are not engaged in the conversation at all. All they're
no.
doing is desperately trying to be right about things that they're too stupid to be right about because they don't know what they're talking about, you know? But that's
Yep.
why, like, this title is a teaser. This is clickbait. I'm not here to teach anybody how to win an argument. I'm really
Right.
here to show people how to navigate these kinds of things so that they don't have to argue. Because it really does take two
Well,
people to argue.
yeah, that's why I don't know if you were if you noticed like we'll entertain it for a minute and see because there were a couple of people I don't know if you were in there when they were but they're respectful and we could engage in
Right,
a civil friendly debate
right.
and just bounce ideas off of each other and share information and knowledge and I really enjoy that. But
Mm-hmm.
when you get people come up who are just ignorant after a while, and I know this makes me sound like a bad person, whatever. It is what it is. But like after a while, it's just kind of fun to start making fun of them
Oh yeah. Oh,
because they're
when
just so
I
dumb.
realize that I'm talking to someone like that, I mean, you've all seen it. I will always start out cordially with a MAGA hat,
Hmm.
right? Invite them up. Thank you for being here. What's on your mind? Da 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 da. And then once they start being propaganda parrots or spewing their hatred or spewing their ignorance, then I go from, okay, I'm no longer trying to communicate with you. What I want to do is see how much fun I can have humiliating you. And I
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
absolutely don't care who thinks that's a bad thing. I fucking love it.
So
So
fun. It really
th-
is.
there's a guy that we have at work, which this speaks into this topic here. There's a guy that we have at work that ended up weaseling basically lying his way into our engineering side of things. And this has been a constant battle with him where he likes to pick arguments with everybody. And I've learned, instead of returning the same level of argumentativeness that he's bringing to me, you just respond to him very calmly
Hmm.
and be like, "Well, no, this is the way it is."
Hmm.
And then when he continues, now he looks like the asshole to everybody.
Yeah.
um, we had one recently. We had a traffic signal where they're repaving the south side of the intersection, and they took out the detection loops in the ground. And he came over to me in front of everybody in the office, and he's like, "Hey, you guys need to go out and fix these loops." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's not our intersection." And he looked at me and he goes, "No, you guys have to go out there and fix that." And I said, "Well, no, you got to get a hold of ODOT and tell them, because that's the intersection that maintain, or that's the people that maintain that intersection. So you'll have to get a hold of ODOT." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you to go out there and do this." And I was like, "No." And that was just basically the end of my statements to him, was just no. And then he's sitting there and he looks at our boss and he's like, "Are you going to let him talk to me like that?" And our boss looks at him and goes, "Well, we don't maintain that intersection, so why would I tell him to go do that?"
Right.
And it's like, you know, here you go. I have stories on that, but I'm not going to bog the life
But no,
down with
the
that.
point is that again, since it takes two to argue, then if only one of you is arguing, it doesn't go anywhere. You know,
Exactly.
it just fizzles out. You know, I do like there's some women I've dated who just like to instigate fights and stuff because what I don't know, their life is boring. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm just like, you know, I watch them spin around in circles like Curly from the Three Stooges, and I'm like, are you done now? Whenever you're done, we can talk, but all of this is, you know, going nowhere.
Right.
That's why women find me annoying. They can't control me at all.
Well, I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I was like, uh, I picked my wife, because we've been together since 2010, and I can think of three times that we actually argued over something.
That's excellent.
And
I used to cover
well,
that in a night with some women that I was with.
right, and when I realized that she was kind of the same, like, level-headed, kind of, you know, let's look at this logically. There's no point in arguing. And I was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And like even more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm. My brothers and I are like my oldest brother and I have never in our entire lives had a single argument. And my second oldest brother, in our entire lives, we've had two fights that lasted all of 20 minutes, and then we're like, all right, I was a dick. Yeah, I was too. I'm sorry. And that's it. My sister, however, she's one of those people who, if she doesn't argue with someone that day, she's not happy. And she and I are no longer, we're no contact. I refuse to be in any sort of contact with her. I don't want someone in my life like that. And it's just, whew.
Yeah, I'm the
She
same.
definitely reminds me of the kind of, it's like if I wanted to be talked to like that, I would still be fucking married.
Right. Yeah. So, Danny, you and Carol have been together a good long time. If I recall, it's 27 years, right?
That's correct. It'll be on the 17th of September. We have our anniversary.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So then, I'm guessing that in that time span you've had some arguments, but I'm guessing also that it's probably been a while since you've had any real arguments with her.
No, not a real argument. We've had some disagreements
Of
about some
course,
stuff.
disagreements
That
are going to
happens
happen.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, we haven't had a fight or a real argument in years.
Wow. Dano says dump. Oh, that doesn't sound too much like a simp. All right.
But also, like, how is that even the
Traffic Man
topic?
says go away.
Makes sense.
That's all I got right now. It's just
I love
get out
it.
of here. This is
I love it.
My number one question for people who just come on random lives and simp for another man, I
Yeah.
just want to know, do you wipe your chin before or after you call Donald Trump daddy?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I like to ask, how does his sack taste? Jesus Christ. So anyway, back to Danny.
Oh.
Danny, so what is the secret to maintaining peace in your relationship?
Well, I got rid of my first wife, so that took care of part of it. Well, she got rid of me. Otherwise, it was a mutual agreement at the end.
That's like what I used to
But
say. I lost 145 pounds in one day. I got a divorce. Hi-yo.
that's it. That's it. Uh, being honest with each other and actually talk it out, actually talk to each other in a civil manner.
Right.
You don't have to sit there and be mean or say bad words to each other and stuff like that. You know, but you need to talk it out sometimes because if you don't, it's going to eat you inside.
Absolutely.
And take time
Absolutely.
to calm down first.
You know,
Yeah, it
you
takes
you
time to
there
calm
you
down
go.
too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Say hello to Carol for me, please.
Oh yeah, you obviously heard her, so I'll
Okay.
take my take. He says hi.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
So, you just made me think of something. Yes. When people that I'm close to try to hurt my feelings, what I explain to them is this. I was like, nothing you can say to me will actually hurt my feelings. I'm bugged by the fact that you're trying to hurt my feelings. Like I don't get that. If you care about people, why would you be trying to hurt their feelings? But before we delve deeper into that, Jordan's here. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. What's going on?
Oh, just a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Nice.
Winning arguments. I gotta say, I was listening in, and I gotta say, you gotta know when you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah. I
easiest way to
say
win
I
an
say
argument.
know when you're wrong, and also because a lot of that is about humility, right? So if you know when you're wrong, that's a sign of humility. If you're not desperate to be right, it's also a sign of humility. Like I don't I don't have to fall in love with every thought that I have or every word that comes out of my mouth. Just because I think it or say it doesn't make it fucking true. It's
Yep.
just my opinion. It's just my way of seeing things. And, one thing that my friends know very well about me is that if your information is better than mine, I will change my opinion. And I do it in real time. I'll say, you know what? I never thought of it that way. You're absolutely right. Thank you. And I mean that sincerely. Like, oh, I got to learn something new right now. Thank you for helping me do that.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I was ever able to do that, because I definitely wasn't able to do that when I was a young man. The only way I was able to do that was to constantly work on eliminating my ego where it didn't belong. Ego in and of itself is not a harmful thing. It's a necessary element of the human psychology, but it can get overgrown and it can get misused. And once I managed my ego and I was like, look, instead of trying to be right, or instead of being defensive, why don't you just try to figure out what the truth is in this situation and have a mutual exchange and get to a solution? Because as soon as we do that, especially if you're in a relationship, it's like, well, as soon as we do that, then we can get to banging again.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
That's one good way to look at
it. I'm one of those people too that like I love knowledge and I love constantly learning new things. So I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, especially like, and it has not admittedly happened very often, but there have been a couple of instances where I've had outdated information and someone's like, "Oh, well actually here's some new information on it," and they'll show it to me and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I was wrong. Thank you." And I'll thank them
Right.
for giving me that piece of information because I've just learned something new.
Right. And that brings me to another idea. You know, it's very nice that for my whole life, basically, people have told me that I'm smart. It's a lovely idea. It's a lovely sentiment to express to me. I always appreciate when someone says it. But one of my secrets to seeming smart is I only talk about what I know. If I don't know something, I'll say, I don't know about that. I'm not going to express an opinion on it. I'll say, listen, I don't really know much about it, but contextually, I can kind of imagine that it's one way or the other. But I always give that kind of caveat, like, hey, I'm speaking from ignorance right now, but this is what I think. But normally, when a subject comes up, the thing that people don't notice about me, since I talk so fucking much, is when I'm not talking. So there's a topic that will come up, and I'll just be silent because I have nothing to contribute to the conversation. But I'm going to take in everything I hear, and then learn something. That's the secret to seeming so smart, basically.
Yeah. And I personally will usually have like for instance on political lives and things like that, if they're talking about a subject that I know nothing about, it's not uncommon for me to have a notepad and a pen nearby me so that I can write stuff down to go look up so that I can get a
Absolutely.
better understanding of it.
Yep.
And like there's another creator that most of us here used to know and do lives with that we no longer do, who would occasionally have people in his panel. A topic would come up and he'd be like, "Oh, well, Jessica can tell you more about this," and I'd have to chime in and be like, "Actually,
Right.
I don't really know. I don't really know much about that, so I can't really talk on that. I can't
know
really
exactly
talk
who
about
you're
that. I
talking
can't
about.
speak on that." Yeah,
I can't imagine how many times in the middle of what he was saying, he would be like, Yoda knows what I'm talking about. And I'm like, I don't think so.
yeah, all the time.
And I wasn't
Same
trying to
with
be
me,
a dick.
all
It
the
was just
time.
like, literally, I have no idea what you're saying right now. Oh, anyway. But yeah, it's, I find debates fall into two categories with me. Either I'm going to have an opportunity to impart some information, or I'm going to have an opportunity to get some new information. And again, because my ego was running like a wildfire when I was a young guy, I could never get to what I needed to get to because it was just drowned out by my ego's desperation to be right or not be embarrassed or whatever the fuck any of that stuff meant. Like, thankfully now, like I shut off my embarrassment meter decades ago. Like, I can't be embarrassed, because my life is my life. Like, I'm not, mistakes are mistakes. I don't give a shit. You can prove me wrong. You're not going to embarrass me. You'll just prove me wrong. And I'm fine with that because then I've had an opportunity to learn.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's see.
There's AC.
Yeah. Cynthia says, this part why I won't play this game with Yoda on Fridays. That's funny.
Yeah, I've heard you crush it on Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah,
Every Friday.
I don't know how this streak can possibly keep going. It's surprising to me every week. You know, I'll
I'm
look up and
officially
I'll be like,
retired from Trivial Pursuit. So
I've
yeah.
yet to join in. I always end up like I usually do family dinners on
mm,
Friday evening,
yeah,
so I've yet to be able to join in. But next week, like I'm making time for it. I
excellent.
want to go to one so bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, and by the way, last week Sam was like right there with me the whole time. I think I only beat
Mm-hmm.
him by 1 or 2 points. So, but
Yep.
Trivial Pursuit fascinates me because I truly don't know what I know. That's why I'm bad at Jeopardy, is because it's one thing to know something, it's another thing to access it when you need it, like access it on demand. What I like about Trivial Pursuit, Jeopardy is kind of like this, but it's harder. But what I like is that if the question is worded well, it gives me the clues that I need to jog my memory. But there are times where you'll hear Danny finish a question and you'll hear me just go, "Yeah, I'm lost. I have no idea." you know, and it happens several times throughout the game, but somehow I just I just recall a lot of shit.
But when he does get it right, and then he'll go, "Holy fuck! I didn't
Yeah,
know. I think I knew
Yeah.
that."
yeah. No, let me tell you,
Oh shit!
there's so much truth to that. Daniel asks a question and an answer pops into my head, and I just say it with zero confidence that it's the right answer. It's like, okay, this is what popped into my head, so I'm going to say it. And then Danny goes, yeah, that's true. And I go, oh, fuck, I didn't know I knew that.
It's kind of satisfying though, isn't it?
Oh, it's very
I
satisfying.
I doubt that I'll do very well on it though because I have just such useless information that
But
will
that's why
never
it's called
serve me any
trivia.
good.
That's the whole
Well, but
point.
that's
It's
like
called trivia for a reason.
when
It's
am
all
I
useless information.
like like when am I ever gonna need to know how many vertebrae giraffes have in their
Right,
neck?
right,
You know, like
Yeah.
right.
shit like that.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
I
used to
the
know it.
point.
tease my ex-wife, my first wife. I used to say, because she used to make fun of me for all the useless shit that I would spew at her. And I was like, look, one day there's going to be someone pointing a weapon to your head and ask you, what's the air velocity of an unladen swallow? And you're going to have to know that.
Uh,
Oh, don't
the
bring that up. I
the
don't want to have
whole
to bring
That's
point.
coconuts
great.
out.
I did that just for you,
The whole
Traffic Man.
point.
Thank you.
The whole point of doing Trivial Pursuit I started was I was so sick and tired of just talking politics 3 days a week, and I figured that we all deserve one day where we can unwind, forget about the mess in the world, forget about Donnie Dump. And I figured there isn't a better way to do it is that we do it Trivial Pursuit on Friday. That's why I call it Casual Friday, Happy Friday, wherever you want to call it. But we do Trivial Pursuit for that reason and that reason only. It's fun. We have a lot of laughs, and we forget about our troubles.
Absolutely.
That's basically why I did it.
Yeah. And it works. It
Yeah.
accomplishes all of that. None of us are thinking about anything except the game and just laughing uproariously. I mean, everybody makes me laugh at some point or another. I think Judy makes me laugh the most often
Oh,
because she's just hilarious,
Judy.
I mean, and I don't know if it's because she's not sober or whatever it is, but she's hilarious.
She has impeccable timing, whether she means to or not.
Right, right.
I'd like to make a suggestion to Pariah. I'm glad that you hate MAGA ruining your day, letting them ruin your day. Come to Trivial Pursuit on Friday. It's a lot of fun. You take your mind off of MAGA and dump, and I would greatly appreciate having another friend in Trivial
Yeah,
Pursuit.
just
I'm going to
click
give you
on
a
Danny's
follow,
profile
Pariah.
photo. Just the bald head that you see there, and that's not my bald head, and
There you go.
follow him and show up
this,
to
this one, not
Trivial
that one.
Pursuit.
There he is.
Oh, although I like the other logo better with Trivial Pursuit on the top, Danny. But it's your game, so you
Well, I
play any
just
way.
see
Well,
that up there tonight,
Yeah, yeah.
so I
I
can
got you.
switch it.
if
Yeah, you
if
don't
you
have to switch it
notice,
now.
if you he oh, I was gonna say above the Trivial Pursuit, he
There you
added no
go.
gifts, please,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
me.
I did that. I took the logo and I was like, yeah, first of all, I wanted everybody to know that it's with Danny, and then no gifts please, because somehow last week everybody came in like they were at Mardi Gras and just started tossing gifts everywhere. Like, what the fuck, man?
I'm so, that
I know.
I
You were
take
one
most
of
of the
them.
blame for that. I'm so sorry.
So
I was just
let
trying
me
to be
be
nice to everybody.
clear.
I was
Yeah.
like, hey, there's all these
And
people that
but
are really
for
nice to
some
me.
reason
Here's
it
some
had
gifts.
never happened before, but it happened last week. Like several people did that. I don't
Yeah.
know if I missed a memo, but it was like, yeah, let's just stroll in and start hurling fucking points at people.
So for everybody's information, I'm gifting the panelists when they get a question correct. If I would really appreciate if you gift me,
There you go.
okay,
There you
because
go.
I'm using my coins to gift my friends here on the panel. So I could use some help here. I'm a poor old man, so
There you go.
gift me.
Yeah. Piera says that screen was popping. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I love that idea. Everybody needs to do that. And for the people that are there regularly, I never tell adults what to do, but I do make suggestions, right? I would suggest that you go to Danny's profile, click and look for his what is it? Not Cash App. Look for his Cash App,
Cash
Cash
app.
right?
app, yeah. My cash app is it.
And just send him a few bucks because he's paying for these games, and we're all benefiting from it and enjoying it. So just throw him a few dollars to help defray the cost.
Because I want to get more games. I want to get more versions of Trivial Pursuit, and you
Yeah.
never know. I might get a few ideas
Ooh.
of doing
Wow.
Jeopardy. I've been thinking about it. So
AC sent what looks like jellyfish. Never seen those before. Thank you, brother.
yeah.
And so,
Nice.
I know I encourage everybody to follow Danny. I also encourage everybody to follow AC. This is a true justice warrior, like for real. He puts his money where his mouth is and he does the damn thing. And he's the reason most of us know each other. So follow him and get to his lives. I was getting ready for my live and I saw that he was on and I was like, all right, I can't really participate, but I'm going to come in and I'm going to share it and I'm going to do what I can to bring attention to it because he is the real deal. And Danny, I love the idea of getting different versions of the game. That way other people have hope for a moment before I crush them.
Yep.
See?
Retired.
But
Come on,
He's
for an
not
Jordan.
shy
info,
about it.
Don't be a wet rag, Jordan.
I
Come
enjoy
on,
your
join the
confidence.
game. Just,
No.
just
Retire.
let go of the idea that you're
if
going to
I
win and
can-
just enjoy the process.
If I can't even keep up with Tara, then I'm retired, guys. So that's it. That's all for that. Okay?
I for information purposes, for those people that don't know, I have 5 games coming. The first one is Silver Screen. The
Nice.
second one is Harry Potter. The third one is
I
Walt
will
Disney.
crush at that one.
Walt Disney. The fourth one is, let's see, what did I say? Silver Screen, Harry Potter. Sports.
Okay.
I got sports coming,
I know very
and I
little
got
about
baby
sports.
boomers.
Yeah, I'll
Got baby
probably,
boomers
I think I'll
coming
do well
too.
on baby boomers because I am one, but I know nothing about sports and absolutely, no, well, not nothing. I know very little about sports, but absolutely nothing about Harry Potter. So,
I
Now,
will
bear in
crush at
mind,
that
all,
one.
all,
yeah.
all, all you need to know, all you need to know is he had an owl and a wand and some friends, and they were wizards. There you go.
Yeah.
Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
that doesn't sound like it'll
I could
cover a
break
whole
down.
trivia game, but yeah, no, when the
Close
Harry
enough.
Potter thing comes, chances are I'll just be sitting there looking dumb the whole time because I'm not going to know anything about Harry Potter. I might I've
But
heard
I,
some things in popular media, but I tried watching it. I watched one of the films, and I think I fell asleep after 20 minutes.
I
now
don't blame
bear
her.
in mind, these are all older used games. So that means they're not going to be the latest Harry
So
Potter,
what?
the
Who
latest
gives a shit?
uh,
that's fine.
sports,
Well, I
the
mean,
latest silver screen, the latest baby boomer, or
Let's make sure
sports.
that
But it's going to be
that
fun. Different
WKRP is
quest.
there for the silver screen one, because I am so sick
Yeah.
of him saying that he's involved in entertainment when he doesn't know a fucking thing about entertainment. He makes me sick. That filthy liar.
Definitely let me know when the Harry Potter one is going to be so I can come and collect my
For
trophy.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
keep that
And
in
by the way,
mind.
the trophy is at a girl. That's it. That's all you get.
yeah, there you
Girl.
go.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm
And
And you
they
totally
don't
get
okay
even
with
give
and
that.
me
you get
that.
some
They're
coins.
so sick of me winning that they don't even announce it at the end. They're just like, "All right, everybody, we're gonna go now."
Yeah, have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Well, you had to leave early. That's why you didn't get there before
Even
the
when I
coin.
stay till the end, it's just like, "All right, this was fun, everybody. Good night." Fuck that dude.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
Um,
I would have never anticipated it that it was going to be that much fun. Like I just did it to do it because it was Danny, so I was like, yeah, I'll show up at whatever Danny's doing. But man, from the very first time, and it just gets more and more fun. Because now like we've known each other for a little while now, and not we don't have long histories. Most of us just met in January, right? But over time we've shared stories and gotten to know each other and gotten more comfortable with each other. So now teasing each other is even more interesting.
yes. yeah.
plus, plus, you came to see me and Carol, so
That's
I
right.
mean, there's a connection now. Yeah,
That's right.
you came and visited. That was a great thing.
I
Enjoyed
it
myself.
was the honor of my lifetime. So and I haven't stopped talking about it since. People that have never met you know all about you. So Buffalo Bills. Oh, is that the shirt you're wearing, Traffic Man? Is that Buffalo Bills?
No, that's Kansas
That's
City Chiefs.
insulting.
That's my
Oh my
Oh,
team.
gosh. Oh.
oh,
Oh.
That's my
Oh.
team. There, boy. Go
no,
Chiefs.
that's right. Let's go Taylor Swift.
That's right. Kelsey.
I
That's
listen.
right. That was Kelsey.
I'm here for I'm here for all of the Taylor Swift stuff. Let's do it. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
shake it off, and we're
oh
gonna be ready
Lord.
to go.
I uh,
I got kids now, man. They love Taylor Swift. What can I say?
I've heard a
That's
few
fair.
of her songs. I just never really connected to them because I'm not a teenage girl. But I don't begrudge her success. I mean, she seems like a wonderful person. She took care of her crew members in a way that usually nobody ever does. So she seems like a down to earth person. You know,
Yeah,
and she risks being controversial when she's taking political stances. So
yeah,
whether her music appeals to me or not is irrelevant. I respect what she's doing as a human being.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm that way with a few artists.
I think what was it? Not last year, the year before. When Travis Kelsey reached out to her on Instagram, it was just kind of a joke where he was like, "Hey, look, Taylor, I got your wristband on. Oh, you want to go on a date? Let me know."
And
And then
now
she
they're
reached
getting
out to
married.
him, and now they're getting married.
He got to bang
so hey,
Taylor
whatever.
Swift. That's fantastic.
And all the MAGAs are losing their or their brains are melting out of
And
their
I'll
ears.
be honest though, I don't find her physically attractive at all because she's built like a breadstick, and
Yeah,
that's
I
not
get
my
what you're
thing.
saying.
you
Yeah,
know, But hey, more power to him. If he enjoys that, which he obviously does, and I think didn't they just get engaged last week or something, or this week?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Last
like
week.
last week, I think.
Last week.
Yeah, to the point where everybody was coming over to my office going, "Oh my God, did you hear yet?" And I'm sitting there like, "What happened?" Because my brain went to other political
Right? Yeah.
things,
You
and
think
I was
Dump did
like,
Right.
"Is
something?
he no longer here?"
Right.
Like,
I saw
Where
I
my
saw a
brain was-
TikTok like that.
and they're like,
I saw a TikTok.
"No." Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I saw a TikTok like that as somebody's like, "Did you hear? It happened. It finally happened." And they're like, "Are you serious? Oh my god, this is the best day ever. He's gone." They're like, "What? No, Taylor Swift got engaged." They're like,
Right.
"Oh,
That's
Yeah,
funny.
yay!"
exactly. Yeah, it's like, okay, great, yay.
Yeah, no, they'd have to catch me before I ran out naked into the streets. Get me before I hit the door, because otherwise it's too late.
Yeah, I do have experience in doing that.
Yeah,
There you go.
As you heard last night,
that's
I
right.
have experience. So.
Danny was a streaker when he was a young lad. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I
the
I
talk of
can't
my
wait.
yard.
I can't. I was looking forward to last year because I assumed something foolish last year, and that is that Americans would find the idea of a convicted felon as president distasteful. Oh boy, was I wrong. So I was prepared to do a happy dance last year when I thought that he was going to prison. So since I'm not going to get that satisfaction, then when he kicks the bucket, I will do my first TikTok dance ever. And the only question is, will I get banned for it or not?
If you do, it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
The real question is, do you guys have your playlist together yet for
I
when it
have
happens?
fireworks. Like
Wow.
I literally have two-stage mortar fireworks
That's
for
funny.
that night. And
The dump
I told my wife,
works.
I
That's
don't care who
wonderful.
knows. I don't care.
That's
Uh
wild.
it's gonna be it's gonna be like the end of the when they remade the end of the Return of the Jedi when everybody's celebrating, and all
Oh,
that stuff.
yeah. The Ewoks
Yeah.
dancing and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to the addition of that, where like they then show the 1997 remastered, where they show Naboo and they show Coruscant and all the different places celebrating, and I'm like, yeah, I hope it's like that.
And didn't they digitally alter one of the spirits that they saw to?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. The original character who actually played Anakin Skywalker, you remember where they took the mask off
yeah,
at the end of it?
yeah,
He was in it, but then they added Jaden Christensen later on,
yeah.
which
Hayden
I think is
Christensen.
dumb. But
Yeah. And by the
Hayden,
way, he
sorry,
might
Hayden.
he
Yeah, my
might
bad.
very well be the worst actor on earth.
I agree.
Maybe. You know?
Well, between him and Kristen
Oh.
Stewart,
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Dakota, what's her name? Dakota Johnson played in
the
50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, her. Yeah, that's
She's
funny.
god awful.
Yeah.
There's not a single
come
thing
on,
She
I've seen
looks
her in where I'm like,
exactly
that's
like
a
her
convincing
father.
performance.
Yeah, no. There's a few people. Winona Ryder was one of these. Although she's gotten better with age, but it's like they thought that
right?
acting was how big you were making your eyes. Like that's all that acting was to them.
Yes,
Just a dead-eyed stare until you finish your line, and then it's time for me to say my line with another dead-eyed stare.
but I mean, come on, nobody
Yep.
can disagree with me that the acting in any of the Twilight series movies was good.
I tried to
Like,
watch that. That was one of those cultural things that I resisted for a while, but I love the vampire mythology, right? I especially love the
sure,
way Anne Rice kind of reinterpreted it. So I tried. I was like, I heard for a long time, people, oh my God, Twilight, you got to see Twilight. And I was like, all right, I'll see it. And I got through 40 minutes of it, and I was just like, yeah, I can't keep watching this. This is some of the
it's
worst
just
shit I've ever
bad.
seen. Yeah,
About the time that the vampires started to glitter, and also the
Yeah,
fact that like, because I remembered like way before they were movies, like back in like middle school is when the books were coming out, and all the girls in middle school had the books. So I was like, all
yep,
right, yeah, I'm a reader. I'll read it. Canonically, in the realm of Twilight, they're supposed to be like hard as stone, and they actually, like, if they touch each other they clink like plates.
right,
And so
right.
just the knowledge that when the do happens, when they're doing the do, they're clinking like plates, and that alone
that's fucking
was enough
hilarious.
for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, did anyone read Interview with a Vampire rather than just watch it?
No, I've
I
only ever
did
watched the movie.
way, way back in the day, years
Yeah.
and years ago.
I read it before I saw it. As a matter of fact, I reread it and finished it the night before I saw the film. And that was a mistake, I think, because the film was so disappointing compared to the book. And what was really disappointing was learning that Anne Rice was the one that did the screenplay for the film. I was like, why would you do this to your book? It was ridiculous. I mean, it was an okay film, but it's a spectacular book because Anne Rice has a particular gift with language, which she never replicated in any of her books after that. But it was just the way she expressed everything that she expressed, and a lot of it happened in the minds of the vampires and stuff. I thought it was amazing. So, if anyone is into that kind of genre, I would recommend reading Interview with a Vampire. Oh, and by the way, she wrote it because her daughter passed away, and she was pouring her
Oh,
heartache into that book, and which is why there's no coincidence that after she lost her daughter, the characters that she wrote about were immortal.
okay. That makes sense.
It makes it kind of deep.
Yeah. I still don't like
Did
the
not know
movies.
that.
Sorry.
You still don't like what?
I still don't like the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. They,
Yeah,
and they got
but
successively worse. I mean, by the time we got to Queen of the Damned, it was just a shit show. Although I did like Aaliyah as an ancient vampire.
Yeah. I think her performance is what carried the movie to any semblance of success.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember what the box office was for it. I just thought, ugh. Hey, Cherry's here. What's up, Cherry?
Although I
Check
will
out
say,
the
as a
Conjuring.
fan of Deftones, I was a fan of the soundtrack.
Oh,
I did like the soundtrack.
nice. Yeah, I like the Deftones too. I generally love moody music or just high energy music. Like that's why I love the Who, because the Who is just
yeah.
off the
Yeah.
charts. Like anything they play is just crazy, And you could always tell when it was Pete Townsend who wrote the song because he was always like softer. Eminence Front, very quiet, very slow paced song. Let My Love Open the Door, very chill, cute love song. But when it was the rest of the gang, it was like, wow. you
Uh-huh.
know,
Right.
I just watched a video. I love watching people in their 20s and 30s reacting to rock music from the 70s because every time they do, almost invariably, they're like, oh, now I understand why old people talk about music the way they do. Because it was definitely a different thing. Cherry looked like you were trying to come up, but for some reason it didn't take. So, want to come up? Try again.
how how soon do you want me to order the Genius edition for you, Yoda?
Oh, who knows? I mean, I don't know what the Genius Edition entails, but I'm certainly no genius.
Well, the trivia has a Genius edition 1 and 2. I never heard of it. I'm looking up stuff now on Amazon and all these different ones. There's a bunch of them.
Let me know if you want. Let me know if you really want to order the Genius Edition. I will absolutely jump in for the funding on that.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't believe it. They have a Genius edition 1 and 2. They also have an Xfinity one. It's a Marvel one,
Mm.
and they also have a one that's the for horror stuff.
And that's HORROR, right? Not
Right.
WHORE.
No,
Okay,
not the banging one.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I know
Thank
a
you.
lot about the banging
Well,
one, so I would love to play that game. But horror,
I
no,
know there's a lot of
that's not
banging in
my
horror.
genre. But I, that would be fun to play.
Yeah, so I couldn't believe that there's so many of them. Of course, these are new. I am going to look on eBay to see if there's anything that's been used that speaks that one. But still, that's amazing.
Yeah, I
And
mean they've been
yeah,
around a long time.
yeah. Well, I bought my kids the first game back in the '80s. We used to play board game trivia after church on Sunday, and that was one thing we did after we had our meal. And that or Monopoly, and the kids got tired of me beating them in Monopoly. So.
Oh, it looks like Chewy's in the house. What's up, Chewy? Good to see you, man. Thanks for the heart me. Haven't seen
Danny,
you
it's
in a
funny
hot
you
minute.
mentioned Monopoly. My brother used to wipe the floor with everybody with Monopoly, and then last year when my daughter was 6 years old, she beat the crap out of him, like to the
Wow,
point where he got pissed and got up and left because he couldn't
really?
stand losing to a 6 year old.
That's funny. Cherry, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate it. Pinky, thank you for the heart me.
He still
Yeah, no,
refuses to play
that is
Monopoly with us.
that would sting a little bit losing to a 6-year-old.
A little bit.
Yeah,
She owned hotels and apartments everywhere. It was hilarious.
that's wild. All right, Cherry's trying a second time. Let's see if she loads in. We
I'm
got
coming
her.
for all you people tomorrow, just so
All
we're
right,
clear.
that's good. I love that kind of
Listen,
confidence.
listen.
Quit talking over each other. What'd you say? Every time.
I said, Grandpa, I said I'm coming for traffic in Yoda tomorrow. I'm not no holds barred. It's over tomorrow.
You and
Okay.
Tara.
I'm impressed that you would even mention traffic as the same sentence as me when it comes to trivia. But hey,
Oh, come
whatever
on.
works for you, you know.
I'm just trying to give him
Now
a
I would
flower or two,
understand,
Let him think,
but the
As you
thing
can
is, you didn't
see,
say
Jessica,
Sam. You
I'm
know
an
what's that?
inveterate shit talker.
But that's okay. I am too.
Good. We need that.
But
Traffic, it's okay. I know, like, you can't win. I know you try, but
Okay. All right. I see
Yeah.
where this is going.
She notched it up a bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit there. Jeez.
Listen, I may not I may not do that great or even come close to touching whatever Yoda's score is going to be at regular Trivial Pursuit, but I'm going to dominate you guys on the Harry Potter night. Like
There
it's
you
going to
go.
happen.
Yeah.
traffic, just make sure you wear your piss pot. That's all I'm going to tell you.
There you go.
Well,
I,
that's
I will
it.
make sure of
That's all I
that.
got to say.
And Jessica, my wife has
Yeah.
forced me to constantly watch those movies on repeat. So good
Oh,
luck.
I've watched I've watched the movies hundreds of times probably. I've read the books dozens of times. Like bring it on.
All right. So it
Good
looks like
luck.
you need to be dropped, Jessica.
Yeah,
Okay.
my son woke up, so I've got to go
There
get
you
him
go.
back to
I'll
bed.
handle that.
Have a
Well,
good night,
thanks for
honey.
coming
Good
on.
night, Jessica.
Thank you. Good
All right.
night.
see you
Good
tomorrow.
night. What is the topic tonight, by the way, since I hopped in a little late?
Tonight, I did a little clickbait by calling it "Win Arguments" because
Okay.
it really wasn't about that. It was really about how to communicate more effectively so you don't have to argue.
Oh, okay, I got you. I was trying to detox from that AC's live and having to listen to fucking RFK. You like my post today where I said he sounds like a McDonald's drive-through
Yeah, I
Yes.
heard that one.
when he talks?
Yeah,
It's true. I can't. Like, I can't with
it's
him.
I could deal with how he talks if he said smart things, but every time
He
Right.
he
doesn't do
talks,
that,
it
right?
just he just and I think it gets exacerbated when he's in a Senate hearing because when intelligent people are asking him questions or pointing out facts, it becomes glaringly obvious how stupid he is.
Yeah.
That part.
And then I guess to kind of your topic of the evening, he doubles down and gets frustrated and starts accusations, and it's
The
Like, I
fact that
love
he doesn't
when
know
he
statistics, like,
doesn't know anything. He
yeah.
doesn't know his job at all.
no, he
That
doesn't.
part. That
All right,
part.
I'm trying something new with the gift goals. Since a lot of you, instead of having you tap 100 times, I'm gonna put up something that's 99. So for those of you who
There you
like
go.
to run the board with the 100 roses, then you can just do it once with
Traffic, I sent you
this.
some gifts, just so you know I do love you. Just saying.
Well, thank you. I
that's
appreciate
nice. That's nice. Thank you, Traffic, for giving me the mic.
that. There you go.
Never used that one before. That's a fun one. So
Yeah.
I mean, the level of stupidity, like when AOC was questioning him about giving insurance money double
Yep.
what they were getting paid, he looked like a 12-year-old who didn't read the book for the book report.
Deer in headlights. That's
Right.
what I called him.
Unbelievable. Like she was like,
Brutal.
well, you did this. You increased the budget. And he's like, when did I do that? Like, you don't know?
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
charge of all this shit. You don't know what you're doing or what it means. That's why I think Peter Thiel is really the one in charge, because none of these idiots can answer
Right?
questions because they're just
No, of
doing
course not.
whatever he tells them to do.
Yep.
Oh, well, then there's also Pam Bondi that decided
Oh.
today, after she met with our defense in Canada last week, that trafficking is because of Canada right now, and it's just
Of course it
completely
is.
out of control.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
wait, you just met with our defense last week. Why is this a topic right now all of a sudden? Like, you're so
Yeah.
full of shit.
Because
Stop
it
hitting
makes
things.
sense that the most polite country on earth is involved heavily in trafficking. Like, get the fuck out.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know,
exactly.
like the Canada has mafia and all that other shit, but overall, let's be real. They're like the
Yeah.
opposite of America.
Yeah, you
Yep.
punch us in the face and we say sorry, like.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, eh?
Sorry.
How you doing now? Good, and you?
How about that back
Sorry,
bacon,
did I
eh?
hurt your fist? Sorry.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, Jacqueline, good to see you. Thank you
Hey,
for coming. Thank you
Jacqueline.
for the heart me. Appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, I've never ever seen anything like what I'm seeing in politics now, because it's, we have an entire administration who's really just a crime family posing as an administration, and each one that you talk to is dumber than the last one you talked to.
That
You know,
part.
Yep.
I mean that Dev Patel. I mean, he looks like the ghost of a frog sprung back to life, for starters. But like,
Cash
this
Patel.
guy knows nothing. Cash Patel, thank you. Dev Patel, I think, is the
Yeah,
actor. Sorry, Cash Patel. Dev Patel's beautiful. I'm sorry, Dev, that I mistook you for Cash. Dev is a beautiful human being. No, he really is.
I was confused there for a minute.
He's absolutely
Because
gorgeous.
Cash Patel spends too much time in the evidence room, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Well, no,
Cash
that's
Patel is like the
dodgy.
last scene of what's that fucking that film with Al Pacino that everybody loves when he plays the dealer, Tony
Scarface.
Montana.
Oh no, it's not Scarface.
Oh, Scarface.
Yes, it's
Scarface,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's like the
Scarface,
last
yeah.
scene of Scarface. Yeah, I just imagine Cash Patel, like right before he goes to sit down to any interview, he's like, all right, what do you want? What can I tell you? What can I lie to you about now?
Listen, when Tony Montana says, say hello to my little friend, he's talking about Cash Patel.
There you go. I like that.
I'm like,
Him
how
and,
can anybody take him seriously?
What's his name? Bongino, whatever it is.
Oh,
Dan
Dan
Bongino,
yeah.
his
Yeah.
deputy. Oh my
Yeah.
God. What a loser that guy is.
The alt-right podcaster turned deputy head of the FBI.
Because that makes sense.
What the fuck?
You know. Or
The
that's
guy
like
who
a
literally
Fox
made his
host being in
living.
charge of defense. Oh yeah, that's right. We have that.
Oh wait. Or the Fox host being the head judiciary position. Oh wait.
Yeah.
I think we could go down the list here. Actually,
This is exactly why you don't hear anything from the Onion these days, because life is worse than parody.
the Onion's out of business. Yeah, exactly.
You
Well,
can't make
actually,
this shit up.
AC brought up an article today
Oh
about
God. Yeah.
what was that? The U.S. State Department
Yeah.
wasn't going to allow Iranians
In Costco.
to shop at Costco or
Yes.
Sam's Club during UN negotiations.
You
And
missed
that
Yoda.
was my first comment was, AC, are you sure this isn't an Onion
It's
article?
for real. It was on
What the fuck?
AP. Like, what the
I mean,
fuck is that?
this is like the San
What are you
Fernando
doing?
Ninja Parade every year. Like,
What
what the
are
fuck?
you doing? You know, you've got the number one cause of perishing for people 19 and under being weapons. You've got an economy in free fall, but you want to make sure that certain people don't shop at big box retailers. Like, you're getting it wrong. You understand that. You're doing it wrong.
Sorry, guys. Let me see your
Right.
citizenship when you come into Costco, for God's sakes. Like,
Yeah.
seriously? That, and I heard as well that apparently maybe tomorrow
Danny.
he may be renaming the Pentagon to the Department of WAR.
Oh, great. That's
The
important.
Pentagon. I'm like,
That's
really?
important. Let's have an 8-hour
Well-
meeting about that. That's important.
Now, remember, historically, before WW2, it was called the Department of WAR.
It was? Okay, I didn't know that.
Right.
It was
Yes,
called
yeah, no,
the
that
War Department.
it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
backwards.
there you go, Danny. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after WW2, we realized that's not the best name for this, so we're going to change it to like the Department of Defense.
Okay, I gotcha. I didn't know that. Thank
Right.
So,
you.
but
Because
now-
that
defense.
tells a better story.
Exactly, correct.
But technically, the president can't sign an executive order and change the name of it.
Well, why
It
does
has
he
But
to
he
be
will.
change
done
it?
by
But he
Congress.
will.
No, he will. Right.
He will.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know.
Like,
So.
Right.
anything to distract from what's going on, right? Like,
Right.
The
literally.
B files. Yep.
Like,
The
you're
B
drawing
files,
straws here to see what you can pull over people. Like,
Yeah.
I only saw a
Wild.
snippet of the meeting where the victims spoke, and
Yeah.
strangely, the one that was shared with me was the brother of one of the victims,
Virginia.
and that was very
yeah.
emotional. And you know what
Yeah.
I posted this earlier, and I'll just repeat it here. I think it's important to remember that what these women are talking about happened to them when they were teenage girls. You know,
They were
13,
children.
we see adult
14.
women
Correct.
now. You know, we see women talking now. But you got to always remind yourself, these are girls that these filthy pieces of shit did this to.
Yep. Yes. And that's one of the things I've seen on a lot of reactions from the MAGA side of things here is they're complaining, why didn't these women speak up earlier? Because they were children when it happened.
You know, and
That's not a
first of all,
thing.
I hate it when anybody says that to anybody about
Well-
anything, because that means they don't understand
Right.
understand anything about human beings. They don't understand how trauma works. They don't understand the humiliation that women go through when they bring those kinds of charges.
Exactly.
America is a shitty country. And one of the very long lists of things that illustrates that is how we treat women when women are trying to get help in these situations, in DV situations,
Yep.
in these kinds of situations. America's a shitty place for a woman to get any kind of help or justice. The statistics for convictions is pathetically low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are bad. Like, I know, Canada isn't fantastic. Like, God, I remember with, and I don't talk, I mean, I've talked about it when I've been on Lotus, but like, my ex put his freaking hands around my neck and told me I was the last, I'm the last face you're ever gonna see type thing, and I was really young and thought like, okay, well, and then it was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, and you forgive, and but I remember like going to his mother and she was like, well, what did you do to upset him? And I'm
Oh,
like,
Lord.
Yeah.
excuse
Yeah.
me,
The victim
like,
blaming.
hello?
There we go.
He
Yep.
almost unalived me. Like, my sister came running in the door and was like, drop my sister. And you're going to sit here and say, what did I do to make him mad? Are you insane?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because very often the picture is painted in a one-sided way, like this is all about what
Mm-hmm.
men do. And I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
like women get involved with this
Women do
too.
it too.
And we have to be
Yep.
honest about that. You know, this is
Yep.
just a
Right.
failing of society, you know?
100% love. Yep. But it's like, this is the problem is that women aren't believed just on telling their story. I don't understand why you need a fucking list. These people and women sharing their trauma should be enough. Why do
Yeah.
you need a fucking list
Right.
to prove
Yeah, you
what
got
woman
eyewitness
wants to
testimony.
publicly? Yeah,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
woman wants to publicly come out and say this happened to her? None of them. Zero of them want to come up and tell that and tell their story. Number one, because you don't know who's going to believe you. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. And for people, there's a bunch of freaking Republicans on the app right now that are like, oh, well, they've had 20 years to tell them. Like, shut the fuck up. You have no
Yep.
idea. So just don't speak on something you don't know.
But
But all this does is deter women seeing this now, saying, what's the point of me coming forward? Because nobody's going to believe me anyways.
I guess my response right now to them is going to be, well, why was Maxwell put in prison?
Right.
That part. Traffic.
Two
Exactly.
people were put in prison for it, and yet we're
Yep.
pretending
Mhm.
that we don't know that there were dozens more involved in this shit.
Exactly.
You know, and
Yeah.
here's the only thing I would change about the process is when there's an accusation from a woman, her identity is kept anonymous, and I think it would be right to keep his identity anonymous too until there's a conviction.
I agree. That's
Because
fair.
otherwise,
Yeah.
because there have been times, I know it's rare, but there have been times when the woman lied, you know, because we've seen this happen, and I know it doesn't happen a lot, but that guy, even though he's exonerated, his name has been dragged through the mud. There was a college student
Right.
who, and I forget where this was, but I think it was somewhere in America. Luckily, there was video footage of everywhere they went that night
Oh,
that proved
yes.
that she was lying,
You're
but he
you were
still
speaking. Yes.
got kicked out of the college, right? He still lost opportunities because he was a very good student, right?
If it's the same story I'm thinking of, it was the young man that had been trying out as the punter for the Buffalo Bills.
Right. And he
Where
lost
this
that
story had
opportunity
come out.
too.
He did, yes. Now, eventually, once he was exonerated, he was picked up by another NFL team, and you know.
Well, I'm glad it
But
worked out for him, but he had a
still-
real rough time
But
for a
still,
while. You know?
absolutely.
So again, you know, I am any woman that comes with that accusation, just assume that she's telling the truth and let the court system decide whether that's not the case. Anyone that
Agreed.
doubts her when she initially comes to you is a piece of garbage.
Agreed.
You've got to believe, you know, I don't like saying believe all women, but what I'll say is take them at their word initially and let the court decide whether they should be believed or not. All right? Because like we
And you
saw
know
with
what?
Amber
Your
Heard,
comments-
some people will go to great lengths to lie about somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And it goes, you know what, Yoda? Let's be honest. Like, these celebrities, and in your comments, Conor McGregor was another one where it was like, oh no, he would never, and like
I don't know why people say that. I don't know why people decide someone would never do something. I'm like, do you know this person? And even if you
Right.
do, here's what I like to remind people of. When they think they know someone just because they enjoy whatever it is that they produce, whether it's a song or a sport or art or
Right.
whatever the fuck it is, right? I get that you enjoy their product. But if you think you know that person because you enjoy their product, you're fucking wrong. And you
Right.
know how I know this? There are women that don't know they're sleeping next to criminals.
there you go.
Okay.
Exactly.
It happens
Yep.
all the fucking time where a dude will be found out to be some serial monster, and the woman that he was married to had no idea. Right? So
happens so
if
many
the
times.
person you're sleeping next to doesn't know who you are, the person watching your fucking show sure as shit doesn't know who you are.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And then you
I
look
mean,
at like Bill Cosby. He was convicted just on testimonies,
Yep. And by the way,
right?
I dated someone in entertainment, right? She was an executive at a couple of really huge record labels and shit. And I started dating her in 1986. That's the year that I learned about Bill Cosby and what a monster he was, because in the industry, it was well known. Don't be alone with Cosby. Don't have drinks with Cosby. This is what women were telling each other. Okay?
that's insane.
And then in the
Yeah.
90s, he was brought to court, and we found out, oh, he's been paying some woman to hide his illegitimate daughter all this time. Right? And still there were people that like, oh, that Cosby's a great guy. I'm like, no, he isn't. He's a piece of shit. And the stories of what he has done to women have been out there for a long time. And thankfully, people finally came forward and exposed that piece of shit. I hate celebrity
I mean,
worship. I absolutely
and I
hate
think,
celebrity worship.
Danny Masterson. Danny
yeah,
Masterson was another
Yeah.
example. You know, to the
he's
point
rotting
where
in
Mila
jail.
Kunis and what's his name?
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher went
Yep.
to court to defend this guy. And it's like, ew, he's
That's,
a piece
by
of
the way,
garbage. What are you
that's
doing?
why I never vouch for anybody. Because
Right.
in my old neighborhood, vouching for someone could have really, really bad consequences.
Dire consequences,
So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
unless I run with you, unless I run
Right.
with you side by side for a really long fucking time, I am not vouching for you. I know you,
Yep.
I like you, I might love you, but I don't know you like that.
No.
Right.
But I think the part of the problem is that for all these years, for however long, many decades, is the fact that men with money got away with things.
Yeah.
If you have money,
Right.
you can clear your name, you could be completely exonerated from anything. You know, it's kind of like, you know, Trump, let's be honest, not many people have told him no, and now you have a whiny fucking toddler that just can't take the word no. So, you know, and that goes for women in power too. Like there could be women in power that, you know, get exonerated and clear their name because they have money, etc. You hear it more about men, obviously, but still it could happen with women.
Yep.
And I'm the first one to say, like, somebody comes to me with a story like that, I'm believing them. Because,
Yep.
like, watching that conference yesterday, and you guys know I went on a posting rampage yesterday. I was so amped up. And I literally called these Republican congresswomen. I used my sister's zip code. Don't out me, guys. And I was
That's
like,
fine.
do something about this. Like, you're complicit in this. If you're shutting your mouth, then you're complicit and you're no better and you shouldn't have your seat. I don't give a shit if I don't care if Obama's on it. Let the fucking list out.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
Right.
If he's a bad person, I love him. I want to know if he's bad.
That's
Bill
right.
Clinton, I don't give a shit who it is. We should all know you work for us,
Yep.
not the other way around.
Who was the Republican congresswoman that got emotionally distressed?
Nancy
from
Mace. She
Nancy
actually
Mace.
had a
Nancy
heart.
Mace finally showed signs of being a human being.
There you go.
Yeah,
Youngsy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, still skeptical. You're running for re-election. I don't believe you. Great
Right,
that you
right.
stood with the women. Like I will give you a half a gold star. But still, I know you're running for re-election, and you would probably turn on them with
I'd
minutes.
give her an 8
Yeah.
the gold star.
An 8. There you go, Trevor.
Yeah, I
Like,
got it.
just
I
because you did
call
this-
her man-faced traitor green.
that part. Yoddah, I so wish you would have been on the live when AC called her and did like the hillbilly
Oh my
accent,
god.
where he's like, "You're the sexiest cave woman I've ever seen."
Yes, he did. He left that
Yoda,
on
you
her
would have on a
voicemail.
live. He's like, you're like a
Oh,
bombshell from the wrong show. If you
AC,
know what I'm
clip that
saying?
it
and
was
post
so
it. You gotta
good.
clip that and
He
post
did.
it, bro. Oh shit, I gotta get to your
Go
profile and
look
check
at
it
his
out.
page.
Yeah,
Oh my
But
god.
go
he's
look at it.
like,
It's so good.
was that the one traffic where he's like, I'm gonna make you my dumplings with my special
Yes,
sauce?
Yeah,
yeah. He said, get ready for my two dumplings and my special sauce.
yeah. He said
That's
something about
fucking
you're the best
priceless.
Taylor Park bitch I
Oh.
ever knew.
Yeah.
And
Yes, exactly. And then he called Tommy Tuberville, and he was like, "Hey, coach, roll tide! Hell yeah, brother! You got."
Yoda, you would have unaligned.
That
It's
is
just
great.
like,
I
hey, coach,
absolutely
roll
love it.
tide.
I love it. Yeah,
Traffic, are you using
but
mother, brother?
Marjorie's a piece of
Mother,
shit, man.
brother.
She needs to go. She's
Right.
not part of the team.
No,
No,
like,
she's not.
I'm like, he's
Absolutely
like,
not.
oh, she's speaking up. I'm like, no, she's up for
Yeah.
re-election. Like, I don't trust.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that Marjorie Taylor Greene could like bonk her head on something tomorrow and then turn like extremely woke, and I would still be like, you gotta go.
That part.
No, I don't care. I don't trust you. You already, you know, one of those like Looney Tune moments where they bonk their head and suddenly they're a completely different person.
I
I'd
just
still be like,
just love that
no,
you think the
no.
thing that will turn her
Exactly.
nice is trauma to her brain.
That part, traffic.
That's like Harrison Ford in Regarding Henry. He was a piece of shit until he caught a hot round in the temple.
That part. Oh my god, I remember that movie.
Oh,
That's the only film where he actually acted well.
yeah, right. Every other film, he was just Harrison
He was
Ford.
just him. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, exactly. Get off my plane.
That's
but I mean,
that is so funny.
You know,
she falls down, hits her head, and wakes up a decent person.
If only it was that easy, right?
Oh shit! I say we try it out. Let's experiment. Everybody grab a blunt object and visit her.
Hold on. This might be a good screenplay.
Fact.
This might actually be a good screenplay.
I'm onto something.
Here.
I'll call it Regarding Marjorie.
Well,
if that really worked, Mitch McConnell would be a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah,
right.
Times he dropped.
That part.
Well, you remember what was the movie with Calvin Klein? Was it Dave?
Oh my god, was it Dave?
It was when the president.
Oh, Kevin Klein. Kevin Klein.
Kevin Klein. Okay.
Kevin Klein. Sorry.
Yeah, it was
Klein.
Dave. He played he played the president,
Dave,
and then the doppelganger of the president.
Right, and then all of a sudden, people were like, "Wow, you're turning into this nice guy." Well, you know, maybe we could have like the same situation with old Large Marge from whatever county she is from Georgia. You know,
Large Marge.
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna send you the link to that video, Yoda. You're gonna unalive.
I love
like
it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I have to say there are sometimes like I knew a dude, and this is connected to Man-Face Trader Green. I knew a dude back in the when did I meet him? Back in the mid 90s maybe, who described the kind of woman that he was attracted to, and it was like small, thin, no real curves, you know, very small breasts, and I was like, "Oh, you mean men? You're attracted to men." Right?
Taylor Swift.
So that's how I feel if you're a man attracted to Man-Face Trader Green, you're probably just attracted to men, which is fine, but just be honest about it.
I just wish I could have been a fly on the wall when she got that message.
Oh my god.
Right?
Well, they're definitely probably a frequent flyer on Grindr for sure.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I would love to be a fly on the wall for the first time that a man goes to bang Marjorie and is like, "Oh my god, your dick's bigger than mine."
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. That's a fair assumption.
Did you guys ever see her try out for American Idol?
No.
What?
Yes.
Oh, are you guys not aware of this?
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Are you
Wait,
serious?
now was this when she was like young or something?
Yes. When she was young,
Holy
she
shit.
used a pseudonym.
I've got to look this up.
She used a pseudonym
right now.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 2004 or something, and when you see her, you're gonna go, "Holy shit, that is Marjorie Taylor Greene when she was a kid." or well, at least when she was in her early 20s, and it's legit. She sucked. She didn't make it past the preliminary rounds, but
Thank God.
it's her. It's her.
Wild. I didn't know that.
Now I typed in her name, and
Okay.
the third choice down was Marjorie Taylor Greene, American Idol season 1, and I watched season 1. Oh Lord
So
God!
did I.
Wow. All right, I've got
Everybody
it.
keeps saying it's not her. I swear to God, it's her.
It's obviously her. So save to watch later. I'll be enjoying that
Yes.
when this is done. Oh Lord, yeah, she's such a piece of garbage. She taunted that kid that was in Parkland. David something.
Yeah. David Hogg.
Yeah, David Hogg. Like, she taunted him and even made sure to tell him while she was stalking him on the street that she was armed.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah, it's on
What the
YouTube. You can see it.
actual-
She
I need to look at
stalked
that.
him like, David, why are you this? Are you being paid by this? Blah, 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 blah. Second Amendment this, Second Amendment that. I'm licensed to carry. I'm armed, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's a teenage boy at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he had been traumatized at Parkland, and you're telling him that you're armed?
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yep.
that was her and Bobert were both throwing
Bobert's
him.
another one I can't see.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, Bobert.
Bobert is a glorified stripper, and I'm hesitant to say that because I love strippers, but that's all she is. She's just a glorified stripper.
Yeah.
You guys have to
Well,
watch
you
the
know-
latest episode of South Park. They are just railing on him so
Oh, yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I love it.
I've not watched it yet, but
Yeah,
no
I've been
spoilers.
checking in every week ever since the first one because I just love what they're doing to the guy.
We just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah, and I give them so much respect because they have $1.5 billion on the line. That's billion with a B.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And
That's
they
what
they
their
just
new
don't
contract is
care.
worth, and they're like, fuck it. We're just going to do what we do, and if you don't like it, suck my ass.
Lavender
Right.
Fields in the comments. No, I don't support Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care if she is supporting women all of a sudden. I don't agree that it should have taken her all this time and this stuff to come out for her to realize that she is on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
So
And
she's
we're
up
not
for
talking about
re-election.
a mistake, okay? That's a disgusting oversimplification of Marjorie Taylor
Yeah.
Greene's problem. She has had years of history of showing
There you
that
go.
she didn't give a fuck about human beings.
Years.
So,
Exactly.
the fact that she might be right now is evidence that even a broken clock is right twice a day. Otherwise, she can go fuck herself.
Right.
There you go.
Well, there's that viral video that went around a few years ago. Oh, shit, it might have been 10 years ago now, where Oprah had gone, the one of the counties that she represents, Oprah had gone down to Georgia and had that talk show with all of the people down there,
Mhm.
asking them why they don't like African Americans, why they don't like the civil rights, why they don't like any of this stuff. And it was impressive over the fact that Oprah even went there in the first place to have this discussion because she was not wanted there, because
Yeah.
of who she was. And on top of that, these are the people. Go back and watch that video. These are the people that Marjorie Taylor Greene not only represents,
Mhm.
but where she comes from.
Exactly.
This is where she's from. So again, I will say, Marjorie Taylor Greene could bonk her head tomorrow and start talking how we need to ban, pew pews and all the left talking points, and I'm still gonna like push her away with my foot in her face and be like, nah, bitch, get
Yeah,
away
I
from me.
mean, she's in order to show contrition and repentance, there has to be a pattern of behavior over time.
That part, Yoda.
So
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
if she turns out to reassess her life and decides she wants to join the human race, I'm all for it.
That's
but
a
I ain't
different
going to
story.
believe it until I
Right.
see it for several years and several votes. Let me see what you actually do.
Exactly.
Fuck what you say, because you
Exactly.
can say anything. but let's see what you're at.
Right.
Look,
Yes.
how many of those pieces of shit in Congress and Senate were like, oh no, we're not going to touch Medicaid, we're not going to touch Medicare, we're for the people, blah 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 blah, and then they went around and kicked us in the sack.
There you
He
go.
was one of the people that was literally booing Biden
Yeah.
during that State of the Union when he said that this is what the Republicans' plan was
Mm-hmm.
that they wanted to do. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, cool, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I didn't know she was saying boo right away. I thought it was a cow going moo.
Biden's
Same
having a
difference.
rough go, guys. He was in the he was getting operated for skin schmancer
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that's
listen, you know, the party has to end eventually, you know, and unfortunately, the winding down part can be very, very hard.
for sure.
Right.
100%.
I mean,
I
my
hope
mother
he
was
over.
healthy most of her life, and then, you know, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's officially in 2013, but she was talking to me about it in 2011, and even the first few years uh, after the diagnosis, she was okay, but then she got to the
Mhm.
point where it overtook her. Oh, another thing I've never seen before. I say thank you. And you know, at the very end, like when the last time I saw her, she was like just this tiny shell of a human, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just the reality for most people. If you live a long time, there's going to be give and take to that. Like, yeah, it's a long life and there's wisdom and blah blah blah. And if you're lucky, you're surrounded by loved ones, but you know, sometimes things get pretty awful.
Right.
Lavender Fields, nobody gets a pass unless they've actually proven they changed first. Anybody can use words to try and get people on their side. Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of them. She is up for re-election. I don't believe a word she says. So if this is what took her to break to be able to be like, wow, I'm on the wrong side of history, there's going to be a whole lot more she needs to show us before I will give her a pass and say she's a
Yeah.
decent person. Because, you know, she's dismantled democracy, period. So there's that. So no, I don't agree that just because she sided with the victims yesterday that she gets a pass. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, plus
And
on
by the
top
way,
of
it
that,
wouldn't
she's an
matter who we were
insurrection.
talking about. I'd say the same thing. If you have a pattern in
exactly.
your
No, this
history,
isn't. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
just going to go for the first time you do something right.
Yeah. This isn't just locked into Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is anybody.
Anybody in a position of power. Like, you know, no, it's not just her that we're going for. But no.
I mean,
She's
even
a
in your regular
January
life,
6th.
right? Like if someone
100%.
it
Yeah.
has a pattern of doing something, once they break that pattern, you don't know if it's permanent or not for a while. You
Yep.
know,
Exactly.
like I went through the same thing. I was a piece of shit as a young man. It was only when I turned 23 that I started my self development, and there were people looking at me with a side eye for a few years until they were like, "Oh, okay, he's for real," and I deserved
Sure.
that scrutiny.
Well, and I think the best, you know, sorry that or it's changed behavior to me. I say that all the time. You could say you're sorry to me. I don't give a shit about it unless you literally show me changed behavior. Then I'm like, oh, okay.
There you go. That's
Damn.
cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yoda the Pharaoh.
Although
Love it.
I
Lavender,
doubt
like,
I was a
Yeah.
pharaoh. If I have a past life, I was probably the guy that mopped up after orgies or something.
Lavender, then see yourself out because you're not listening to what anybody is saying here. You don't know me. I don't know you. So goodbye.
She's saying
Have a
you're
nice
all talk
day.
and using the wrong your, so she's kind of dumb. So
Yeah, that's true.
so now I've blocked her because she's tiresome. What
Perfect.
does that even mean?
Yeah.
You're all talk. What does that have to do with anything?
Because she thinks Marjorie should get a pass now because she's standing with the victims and that
Whatever.
we're
So go back to your husband, brother, and shut the fuck up.
Your mother, brother.
Yoda.
Yes.
Mother brother.
That's another from AC's Saturday
Yeah.
Live
Really?
where he left a
Oh.
message about somebody's mother brother.
I don't remember who it was. Yoda, you
I
should
love
bring
it.
him up just so he could do the accent for
I
you.
love it. You
Yes.
know what? That's a good idea. AC, you are invited up.
Get up here, babe, so you can do
Come on, AC.
your
Coming
accent.
hot.
Great.
Give me that hillbilly accent.
What's you folks doing here tonight? What you guys up to?
Now do the roll tide one.
You talking about the mother brother or the cousin? The husband?
Yes.
Because I did them both.
My family tree
One
goes
was
straight up.
One was to Tom Tillis, I think.
Tommy Tuberville, Coach Tuber,
Oh, Tommy,
or,
yeah,
Now do that one.
Coach, yeah,
the
Coach.
Alabama Slammer. Yep. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
I love
Marjorie Taylor Greene was the best one, though.
Oh
yeah.
God. When you said that, when you said you were going to make her your two dumplings and your special sauce, I'm trying to cook dinner, dude, and you're fucking making me try to cut my fingers off with that shit.
I can't.
So let's hear a reenactment. What'd you say to Marjorie?
Do the Marjorie one, AC.
Shoot, okay.
Bombshell from the wrong show.
Oh yeah. Oh my Lord, is it the bombshell? The bombshell from the wrong shell? Yes, that is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what they say, but you are the prettiest goddamn cave woman I've ever seen in my life. And then I think I went into the script at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, I told her if she wanted to get a hold of me, I can make her the best goddamn dumplings she's ever had in her life.
You said two dumplings with
That
special
is
sauce.
so hilarious.
That's what he said.
You know, the thing that I love
sauces
about
and
the cave woman line is because I saw that photo of like some Neanderthal woman and it looked exactly like Marjorie.
Exactly, sir. Yeah, it's spit images, descendants of one of another's.
Oh, that's
what happens
beautiful.
when you have mother brothers.
You know that I usually throw in my hick dialect when I am faced with that dialect and it's a MAGA hat talking, and I'll be like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's contagious. You start acting and talking stupid yourself. It's fucking wild.
One guy was like, "Oh, you're racially profiling me." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm making fun of you, you moron."
Right.
I did that too. I did that to a Latino dude too. I was brutal on him. I was going arriba, arriba, huepa. And he's like, "Oh man, it's not right, dude. You're racially profiling me, dude."
Give him the old Speedy Gonzales, huh?
Yeah. I hit him with that too. I was like, "Go ahead, Speedy Gonzales. What else do you have to say?" He didn't like that at all.
What?
Bet not.
What no Chico or Pancho?
Oh, I love that. We have a new guest, Sheila. How are you?
Oh, hey. I just want to say that girl in the comment. I just want to say she's just a dickhead. Okay.
Yeah, we figured that out. We cracked that code.
It's like if you're gonna get past like to that point where you can honestly judge someone and you go as far as like being a representative, like you chose Republican, okay? And all of a sudden you don't like something, it's not going your way, and then all of a sudden you're gonna say, "Oh, I changed my mind. I'm gonna protect victims." We should all protect victims,
Right?
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like you chose Republican Party. You chose people and a way of life that is not for humanity. So fuck her is what I got to say about that.
There you go. I love that. And I love that in the most polite dialect also. That's beautiful.
Yes, sir.
You sound like just about everyone from Designing Women, and I'm so for that. What part of the world are you from?
Oh, I'm in Texas.
Texas. What part of Texas?
I'm
Because I know
like
there's
that
different
one
dialects in Texas, right?
Let me tell you, I'm that one little blue dot in a red state.
Yeah,
there you go.
It is not fun here.
Is it like
you have
West
our
Texas,
sympathy.
East Texas? Which part of Texas?
Well, I'm close to Fort Wayne. Well, we call it Fort Wayne, but it's not.
Now, I've only been to Texas once. In 1986, I landed in Dallas, Fort Wayne, and then we drove in a van to Waco, which took close to 3 hours, if I recall correctly. And I just remember there was a whole lot of nothing on that drive. I'm sure it's changed at this point,
It
but
is a whole lot of nothing.
yeah.
But
I
I'll
remember
tell
big
you,
billboards and nothing else, basically.
that's truth. That's truth. My
Mhm.
family is we're from like Louisiana, so my whole family is really from Louisiana. But I live now in Northeast Texas, and I'll tell you, it's hard because we have a very democratic thought way of thinking, and we're just that one little blue dot in a very red state. And
Yeah.
I'm hopeful it changes, and I hope lives like this, help make those changes happen.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm,
I've
I am
actually
hopeful.
heard that Texas is more purple than people think.
It's changing.
Yeah.
It is changing. It started in Houston, and then like if you look, Texas doesn't have one capital; it has four capitals, and each capital, the more people migrate, to those states or to those cities, they literally it's what they call it what's the word uh I can't think of the word right now all of a sudden, but people are migrating to cities because it's supposed to be cheaper, and it's now turning out to be more expensive. And
Mm.
so they're moving away from those counties, but in those counties are often new corporate America jobs, and then that draws in that young folk that is a little bit more modern of a thinker, if that makes any sense at all.
I get that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we do our party. I mean, this isn't strictly a political live, but we wind up talking about politics very often. And, we're just a bunch of people that, like, hey, we think human rights are important. We think dignity is important. We think helping people who are falling through the cracks is important. Because America, as shitty a place as I think this is, there was a window of time after FDR that America showed signs of hope, because they got the idea that to be a good country, you have to make sure that the least of you is taken care of. And after Reagan got into office, that started to go away. And now we're seeing the culmination of that effort. I've left
Yeah.
the crowd stunned.
Nope. I couldn't said it any better.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So,
Right,
well,
kids, it's 12:30 for me, so I have to go to bed.
all right. Well, I will
Sure,
drop you down,
right.
but
Beauty sleep.
Obviously,
Good
yeah,
night,
right.
gorgeous.
thank
Grandpa,
you.
stop
Listen,
roasting
listen.
me. I'm going to bed.
Grandpa, listen, I don't want to throw Cherry under the bus, but you were right. The other night when she swore she was going right to bed, I got like 5 texts from her after that. So, you know, she's a
Because
filthy
I had to
liar.
talk to
She
you.
is a filthy liar, but we love her anyway.
I tell Grandpa all the
It takes her
time.
2 hours to wind down
Yeah, it's a
after
No,
a
I say
I
call.
process.
get
to
that.
doom scroll, and
It's
No,
a
I
then I
get
go
that.
to
process.
bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
look,
She needs. She's
so
listen. Listen.
what we're learning right now is that when she says good night, that means this is the start of the winding down process that probably
Yes.
won't end for 2 or 3
Girl.
hours.
Yes.
I get that.
She either needs to see. She either needs to see the TikTok ad where it says, "Have you been scrolling for a while?" or she needs to see Mr. Bao from China where he does that. Yeah, makes his little dinners or whatever.
That's
Well,
funny.
She
she's
Stop.
knows
got
what I'm
to
talking
send
about.
me a text. Then
I got,
she's got to send
hey,
AC a
I
text.
got to tell you,
Then she has to
whenever I
send
see
Yoda a
that
text.
bouncy ball and it says,
You know,
you've been scrolling too long, take a
Yeah.
break. I'm like, I'm getting more
Talk
education right
about
now
Right.
than I
calling
am when
me
I was
out.
in
You
college.
guys are supposed to be my friends.
but we love her. We love our Sherry.
I hope so.
That's right.
Traffic, it's done. You thought I was nice. I was playing nice. Now,
There
now
you
it's
go.
now it's
All
All
done.
right.
right. The fangs
I'm
are
bringing
out.
my game face tomorrow.
All
They're
right.
off, brother. Good luck
I'll
to
have
you.
my piss pot in hand. We
Well,
All
got
right.
it.
Well,
Sherry,
you're gonna need it.
thank you so much. I always
Of
love when you're
course.
here. So have a great night, and we will
Of
see you
course.
tomorrow with any luck.
All right, guys. Love you all. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
Love
All
you,
right.
Terry. Look for your text.
Nice.
for your taxes. Jesus
He
Are
does.
Christ.
most y'all from the northeast, or are you from like, the northwest too? Like
Me,
where y'all from?
I'm northeast. I'm a
Northeast.
city guy. I'm a, I love country mice, but I'm a city mouse.
There you
Okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, I'm up
it?
from Ohio.
Are you having a lot of people, like a lot of people come into your, a lot of the Federal Reserve coming in, or military coming into your states, like they are down here, or is that not there yet
Well,
because you're east
I
coast?
know there's talk of that, but I have a feeling that just because I know New York City the way I do, that
Mhm.
if Dump tries to come into New York City, it's going to get ugly because there
You
are a
thought
lot
that
of elements in New York
about?
City that are going to reject that. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought
it
about
might
that.
work if he goes to upstate New York where all the
Mhm.
hillbillies are.
Okay.
But if he does it in New York City, it's going to be a problem.
Because we saw that in Northeast Texas, and we were like, well, heck, well, there is no drama going on down here. We don't need none of this. Like, what's really happening, And we all started asking each other, and we're like, what's really happening? Not inside the Capitol. I'm talking about the
Hmm.
outskirts. And I'm like, what's going on in the Northeast, and then Chicago? Like, what's really going on there? And is there like a lot of crime? Is it that
No,
bad up there?
no.
No.
As a matter of
Where did you
fact,
saying
New York
that to
City's
make
not
us
even in the
think?
top 10 cities or states for crime.
That's what we thought. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
how
all you
can
have
you?
to do is go to the FBI website and look at the statistics. It's all there. So all these claims that people make, like I hear these fucking dumbasses, these knuckle dragging troglodytes are just like, oh well, all these cities are run by, they're red states, but it's blue mayors, and I'm like, shut up. There's
Yeah.
nothing that proves that. Like, just
So if
I
it
went to
is,
the FBI website because they're the ones that keep the record on crime, right? And when you
Mhm.
look at the cities and the states and the counties, the picture is very clear. The red states and cities and counties is where the most crime in America is.
Mhm.
It's that
I thought
simple.
the most crime was where we were living, and then we're like, well, okay, hold on. Is there that much crime up there in New York? And then the big cities that they keep sending their Federal Reserves to, they're sending it to Chicago, and they're sending it to, in the Northeast. They're about to go up into, post Northwest Chicago. And I'm like, I don't think the crime is that bad up there. But we don't know down here. We only are fed what the news tells us to feed. And that's why we question it and we get shit for it, because at the end of the day, we are that one blue dot in a red state. And it's like, is Chicago going through some serious crime? Or is it, Northeast or even the Southeast, in Tallahassee, let's say? But that's my question. It's like, what's going on up there? Are y'all facing like crazy crime right now? Is
we
that real?
so my state here in Ohio, we were on the list of 19 states where the president and the Department of Defense were thinking about sending the National Guard. And my question with Ohio is the cities that were laid out of where they would go, it's like we don't have the type of crime that the National Guard would really do anything to stop. Like most of the crime around us is like larceny. It's
Yeah.
burglary. You know what I mean? Like unless I'm going to have a National Guardsman posted outside of my house 24/7 or making sure that I locked my cars at night kind of a thing, there's no point in them being here. Like this, the violent crime that these people are trying to say that is happening all across the blue cities, and that's granted, yes, there's crime does happen. I mean, there's no way that we're going to stop crime has just been a thing since the beginning of humans, but
But traffic, if that's like
yeah,
the only information coming to us from the news,
right,
if you don't have TikTok and you don't have like anything other than mainstream, and you're an elderly person, and the
yeah,
news you're getting, they're saying there is like outbreak in New York City. There is outbreak in
Yeah.
Boston, there's outbreak in Chicago, those big, those big cities. And the reason they're doing that is because, they're saying like we need to put our money and our taxes to those states because they're so out of control. And there's something with me and my husband and my family, and we're like, well, hold on, we travel a lot for work. How is that real? Because I've been there and it's not like that. And
Yeah.
so
You're right.
I want to join the live, like what
Yeah.
Yoda has provided, to ask the question, like, is it that bad? Because I don't want to even travel to
Yeah.
New
So
York City
yeah,
or
there's a couple of
Chicago
things that you
or
need to know.
Philadelphia.
Number one, the mainstream media news is absolutely useless, right?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Waste of your time. You're not going to get information there. I get my information from podcasts with established uh, experts in their field. Like the one that I love the most is the Midas Touch. They're a little bit
Okay.
wordy, but
Mhm.
they are fact based. Everything they talk about is based on the law and the facts of the law, and they post every day, several times a day, and everything that Dump is doing, they are chronicling and reporting on. And so that I find that a very reliable source because everything they've said has been true, right? And the other thing to remember is that the Republican Party right now, in its current form, runs completely on fear. All they ever do to their constituency is make them terrified,
Hey,
right?
come here real
There's
quick,
always
please.
there's always a caravan of criminals crashing the borders. There's always the brown people coming to get you. It's 24/7. They're just terrifying all of these people.
Yep.
Oh, they're coming
Listen
to
to
get your
what
pew
he is
pews. They're coming to
saying.
get this. They're coming to get that. And nobody's touching any of that shit. None of that stuff is happening. But that's what they do every day to just make people terrified.
And if people like me and my husband, my family, like we aren't, we rely on local newspaper, and if the newspaper says that like New York is blowing up a little bit, or like Chicago or whatever, we tend to believe it.
Yeah.
And then when I talk to friends who are in New York City living there and or Chicago, and they're struggling, with whatever they're struggling with, and they're like, see, it's not true. It's not, there's no, they're sending troops into the streets, right? Saying this crime and all this, like, I kind of think of it like Batman and um, Batman's adversary, what's his name? The Joker,
Mm.
and they're lighting everything on fire, lighting all the dumpsters on fire. That is what, from the southern states, that's what they're pushing out to us. They're
Yep.
pushing out that, like, do not go to Boston, do not go to Chicago, do not go to these democratic states.
Yeah.
And my friends and family who have jobs that are a little bit more like, they fly in, fly out, and that's where their headquarters are. And they're saying, no, there's no war here. There's nothing
Mhm.
going on here. Or like that Aaron Parnas guy who I just
Right.
started following. He says like he's in Washington, and he's like, no, there's nothing going on here, folks. And we're down here in the. I mean, I'm in a little bit of a blue spot, but majority state red, and they're all like, oh my god, there's some big war going on over there. And we're like, what are you talking about? Aaron Parnas is living in there, and he's like,
Right.
guys, it's all fake. They're
Yeah,
sending in
and
troops.
Aaron Parnas is a
And
good source because over time when you listen to him, you verify because I verify everything, and because I don't want to be a victim of confirmation bias. So just because the bad guys are doing shit I don't like, I don't want to believe any source until I verify. And he's been consistently right about everything that he's said. So citizen journalism is now the best way to get your news because the media in all forms, because the newspapers, radio stations, and TV stations are all owned by right-wing people for the most part.
Yep.
They own a vast majority of the communication ecosystem. So I would say, find your experts, Parnas and people like him. Those are the ones where you're going to get the real story. The newspapers are useless.
Mr.
The
Yoda,
Yeah,
Yodi, Mr.
Yoda,
Yodi, and let me
Yoda.
tell Yoda, let me tell you though, like down here, we don't get news like I think you get news. So we get worried because we think you're all having some war up in there in the
Right, but
Northeast. And it's
yeah,
like,
but the way I
it's
just
not true,
described is the way to
right?
get around it. Just understand.
No, it's not
Don't First
true.
of all, don't bother with your local news. Just it's not gonna unless you want to know the weather. That's it.
So
That's the only
there is
honest
no
thing that you're gonna
war.
get.
There's no
Right.
war right now in the Northeast and
No,
in Chicago
No.
right now.
no,
No, it's
No.
like no civil war. There's
no.
no,
My
There's none of any
no, they're
kind.
my
not.
brother my brother is currently living in Chicago,
Really?
and he walks his dog every night
Babe,
and has
you
no
know
issues.
that? Can you do this for me, please?
It's yeah. Hey, Yoda, real quick, listen, it's 12:49. I gotta go to
Yeah,
bed. So please drop me down.
I will
I
drop you.
appreciate you
Thank you
having me
for
up
being
here.
here, brother. I appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
and
Yeah,
hopefully we'll
yeah.
see
And
you
I'm gonna beat
tomorrow.
you tomorrow night. Yep.
Good.
Listening?
Live in hope.
That's right.
All right, so I'm going to start taking final comments because we are going almost 3 hours now. First, I'll say goodbye to Sheila. Thank you so much for being here this evening and asking us questions and giving us a chance to
Yeah.
give you some information, and hopefully you'll use that stuff. And I'm here Monday through Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, so feel free to come back anytime.
Thank you, sir. We're just trying to learn, like, from our angle of life, what's real, what's not real. And I think that I'm glad for TikTok because what they're saying is happening there might not be happening there, and we're questioning a lot of things up there. And so I'm glad for your truth. I appreciate
All
it
right,
a lot.
thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
AC, man, I'm so glad you got up here tonight. That shit was hilarious.
I'm glad you liked it, man. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So, what else is on your mind, man? Give us some closing thoughts for the evening.
well, not to keep you guys up or anything, but there was news earlier that dropped that the DOJ now wants or is talking about banning transgender folks from having pew-pews, from
Of
buying their
course they are. Of course they are.
firearm.
Because they didn't care when the 1,000 other YT men did it. They care now. Like, that's just hilarious.
Right. It is absolutely insane. Other than that, yeah, we just got to keep moving, guys. Eventually, I just heard that DC's taking on the legal battle for Trump doing the military invasion of DC. So
Hey, listen, if you notice the trend, he's mostly losing in court, right? Any
oh yeah,
time
what
a
I think it
judge
was like
looks at his stuff, they wind up reversing his orders.
it was like last month he had a 97% fucking uh loss rate on
Yeah.
his on those lawsuits. So
Yeah, he
anyway, I love
barely
you,
ever
brother.
wins. He's terrible, and obviously what he's doing is illegal because the law keeps telling us that it's illegal.
Yep, 100%. He and when he if he makes it out of this presidency, breathing, he is definitely gonna see some charges. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that will happen to him is that he survives the presidency because it's the only reason he's
Absolutely,
not in prison now. You know,
100%. Yep.
and
Jack Smith will be
he's
back.
still got something like I know some of the charges were dismissed, but I think he's still got probably 30 or 40 charges waiting for him.
Yep. At the
And I
end.
know that Jack Smith is always ready.
Oh yeah, he's coming right back. Anyway, man, great live. Thank you so much, Grandpa
Thank
Danny. I
you.
love you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Um, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow at Trivial Pursuit.
All right,
I
bro.
won't
Have a
be
great
kicking
night.
anybody's ass. I'm just gonna be making everybody laugh.
That's it. That's what we're there for.
All
All
right.
right. Good night.
We.
Oh, Danny, my older brother from another mother, last man standing as always, the way the good Lord intended it. What's on your mind, friend?
Well, it's been a great night. It's been a great live. AC had a heck of a good one tonight too. I was there for
Yeah.
a while doing my
Yeah, I
tapper
would
and sheet
luckily I caught about a half hour of it, so I was very happy.
and I got I sent you a text to let you know I'm on my way. I'm just running a little tapper and sheet late. But
Yeah.
It was a great live there. It was a great live here tonight. A good discussion, a lot of laughs, and that's what we
Yeah,
need more of. And it
I'm with
just
you there.
warms us up for tomorrow because there's going
That's
to be a
right.
lot of laughs. So, and
There would
with that,
definitely be that. I mean, anyone not following Danny, you're out of your mind because his lives are excellent. It doesn't matter what subject he covers, it doesn't matter what the theme is. They're always excellent. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. First and third Sunday of every month, same time. It's all different subjects, all different topics. Come check it out. You won't be disappointed, especially if you do Friday Trivial Pursuit. It is, without question, the most fun you will have on any social media platform. Period. Undisputable truth. All right? So, looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow, Danny. Have a great night.
thank you, my brother. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. All right, folks. This has been wild. I had no idea. The time really flew. I looked up and we had done 2 hours, and I looked up again and it was close to 3. So, this is spectacular. So, for everybody in the chat, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Your comments, your questions, all that good stuff, for tapping, for gifting, for sharing the live. I thoroughly appreciate it. And hey, as always, until we meet again, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.